What is going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo!
Yeah!
This week we are playing The Most Dangerous Game. We're trying to watch a movie in 15 parts on Quibi. We watched it. We tried. We'll see if we comprehended it at all.
We'll see if we succeeded. As has been noted, DJ frequently does not succeed in watching.
Oh, that's good point.
Hey.
Good point.
I will say, okay, so I did watch this one, obviously, so don't besmirch me. And I wanted to say at the top, I wanted to get this out there. I tried to eat my lunch, which was a sandwich and an iced tea.
Sandwich thing.
And watch Quibi. I could not do it. It is not possible. I defy anyone to, do it, and it's not possible. You cannot Quibi and eat a sandwich.
DJ, I need you to walk us through your process.
Ask questions, and I will. We'll get there together.
Well, what went wrong? What prevented you from succeeding?
So first, I just tried to put my phone flat on the table and then look at it overhead, like I'm just like a news helicopter pilot, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't want to watch it like this. Felt like it was craning my neck, so forget that. Then I tried one sandwich with the one hand sandwich, other hand phone. But, I put mustard on the sandwich. It was getting places. I had to put down the sandwich, and then you get a napkin, and I couldn't get the right place. And then I felt like I had to put my phone in different places. There's too much going on. I need two hands with the sandwich, maybe lift one to take a sip from my drink, or get a napkin while I hold the sandwich in a neutral position. But to watch and eat a sandwich, it's just not possible. I'm sorry, it's not.
Sorry.
Are there any movies that you can do it with besides the format? Are there movies that are more engaging or more familiar? So it's like, I can use the sandwich and kind of let muscle memory take over for the movie or something when it's appropriate.
If I'm watching on TV, it's no problem. It's no problem.
Well, you can Chromecast this. Did you not do that?
Can you? I was unaware you could.
You can.
Oh.
Yes, you can. I Chromecasted to watch the other thing that the Princess Bride one.
Well,
but
I was unaware in that case. So, but let's take Quibi at its face value, where it's like, oh, you're at the doctor's office. Where I guess you wouldn't have a sandwich. But whatever. You're gonna watch it on your phone. It's hard.
Does your doctor not give you complimentary sandwiches?
I wish. So I just think it's kind of bullshit. That's that.
Well, that is DJ's Sandwich Corner, where before we talk about the thing, we get an idea of whether DJ thought he could enjoy the thing while eating a sandwich.
It's
and the
not
answer
possible
for The Most Dangerous Game and Quibi in general is still no, even though DJ doesn't know that he can. It's totally possible.
Whatever.
But,
yeah. If you're new to the show, this is a regular segment that we do every week.
Oh, yeah. I hope everyone listened last week, because if you didn't, you have no context for what's going on.
And, it's like this is the second of our 2 weeks of Quibi content. I don't know what else it even could be.
Quibi.
Oh yes,
nailed it.
This has been a fun week for Quibi. A lot of people dunking on Quibi in opinion pieces, and I'm all for it. It's great. But what we did this week, because we were talking about it last week, we were like, all right, we'll do all the Quibi episodes. And they had a text chain going. And once I watched the first couple episodes of The Dangerous Game, I was like, this is probably pretty good on its own as a nitpicky thing. So we should make our own, its own episode of Liam Hemsworth, Christoph Waltz, and others' Most Dangerous Game movie on Quibi. And that's what today is. So if you haven't heard all of our Quibi thoughts besides this, they are in their own episode. This is just The Most Dangerous Game.
If you want to hear specifically why Quibi is a bad platform, go to that episode. If you want to hear why this particular Quibi movie is bad, then you're in the right episode.
Nando, I hate to be too pedantic, but I must correct you. It's Most Dangerous Game, because the title's that dumb.
Is that the title of the book? Let's start here.
It's a short story.
Right, yeah. So this movie is based on a book. We call it a movie? Quibi. Let's call it a Quibi.
I think they would call it a movie, but sure.
They would. Can it be a movie if you have to pause it every 10 minutes and just wait a minute to continue watching it?
They would call it like a
15-second ad.
Yeah.
If you're a sucker on the page on the low tier. There it is.
Why would I be on another tier where I have to give them real money dollars?
Well, it doesn't matter for the trial. The trial, you could do the no commercials.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why would it even be set up that way?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because then you get to pay more money, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
No,
when
it's
automatically...
it's the same. You know what I mean?
I haven't even set up payment information. They couldn't make me subscribe to this if they tried.
That's what you think. It's the people that you didn't give your payment information were secretly plants working along for Quibi. I don't know. Some of this is through Google for me. I don't know. You have an iPhone or you Google as well, or like Android?
I have an iPhone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how their payment works, but I think were I to renew Quibi, it would be automatic through that application because that's the only way they would be able to like swing it by.
Yeah, mine's like
not that.
Yeah,
you know, it's some things are like that too in a tricky way, and like all streaming platforms and anything you subscribe to is trying to do that. But Quibi, more than the rest of them, is like, here's a trial that's so long, you will forget the names of your children by the time that it's over. So you'll just keep paying for it afterwards, too. Because I had a 90-day trial. That's a really long trial.
I double-checked to make sure that wouldn't happen, that it wasn't under my like Apple subscriptions, and it's not. So they can't do it that way either.
Oh.
Are you sure? What if Quibi isn't a platform? It's just this fun new way of paying for stuff. When like it's a team of lawyers that are gonna get you to pay many Quibi dollars, and then that's all the rest of this stuff is just kind of a funnel to get to that part.
Oh, they could be Quibucks.
Yes,
Fuck.
Quibi dollars, the funnest dollars. Oh my god!
And they'll get all the most famous celebrities on Twitter to tweet about how you can get free Quibucks.
Quibucks.
So here's gonna be the new Quibi model, right? So they're gonna, when this all fails, they're gonna switch to the free tier. And the way the free tier is gonna work is that every month you get like 5 Quibucks, and a Quibuck gets you an episode of Quibi content. And you can buy more Quibucks, and that's how you watch more stuff. So it's like the New York Times, right? You could get your 4 articles for free or whatever, and after that you got to pay. So like that's how they're going to do it.
Honestly, as far as subscription models go, I don't hate it.
Really?
I think that would work for me. 5 things a month. I like it's not like Quibi's brimming with content I have to see constantly, and it isn't like they have a daily show that is daily that I like.
Right.
I know you've gotten into the sports side of things, but for like the political humor, that one runs probably 5 times a month.
Keep in mind that it would take you 3 months to watch this movie under that model.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky. I'm shocked. Like, I understand, and I think it's a dumb move. And we'll talk about the movie itself, but just like delivery method for Most Dangerous Game. So, I think it's a dumb move to release it weekly as like or daily when you do that. When it's like, okay, we're gonna do one, and then the other, and then the other, and then the other. But that's like the conceit of Quibi. So sure. Once they're all released, I don't understand why you don't just make one big hour and probably 5-minute long movie out of all those clips. Like, why didn't they do that?
Because the movie, if it were the edits would make no sense.
It's true.
I'm convinced that
why is there like an absurd cliffhanger every 6 minutes?
Like, the only way the editing process works is I'm like, man, what if this was one long movie? The edits would make you feel like a crazy person.
Yeah, I can see that. It was a very good, like, try from the perspective of we want to make people watch ads as many times as we can. Let's split this movie up into X amount of like contests. I think 15 is the most I could have done without. Can you imagine if like every scene you had to watch an ad? Every line, every time Christoph Waltz take a sip of his fine drink or whatever.
See, I don't have this experience because I have not had ads. So like,
oh my god, is this the new AMC Stubs membership plug for DJ? Now that AMC Stubs isn't a thing like you can use anymore, it's like, oh, by the way, I mean, I watched the ad-free one. I would recommend everybody do that. I think that's what this is. And you know what? Good. Recurring segments. That's what people love about podcasts.
It's true.
Especially ours. We're very dedicated to our segments.
Speaking of that, anybody want to take a guess at what the IMDb summary for this movie is?
Wait, one exists? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
For this. Yeah. How are you going to know the names of all the stuntmen that pretend to be actors? So I
Hey,
have a
stuntmen put in a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
They do. Movies are mostly stuntmen these days, and actors pretending to be stuntmen. But and you're like, wow, they really learned to be stuntmen.
It's stuntmen and Tom Cruise. That's it.
Yeah. So, Most Dangerous Game, rated mature, which is because it's online and whatever. It was created. Well, it was stars Liam Hemsworth, the second most famous Hemsworth. Christoph Waltz, Sarah Gadon, not sure, never seen her before, and Zach Cherry, and then what I'm assuming are the stunt people. None of them are super famous. Sarah Gadon, I don't know anything about her. Zach Cherry, anybody recognize him?
Who was he?
The friend.
He was the best friend who wasn't a very good actor.
No.
Dude.
But recognize him from another movie or another thing.
Negative.
He's from one thing. He's the guy that's like, do a flip, Spider-Man. That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
he
great.
probably could have told his friend Dodge to do a flip at some point. There was probably a point where that would have been cool. He just works that in everything he's in.
Can't.
He was a really
my
bad
God.
actor, though. By the way, he was terrible.
Yeah,
And I don't
listen.
I don't like talking shit about people, but when he was on the screen, I was just like, wow.
Nah, he's an adult. Go for it. I'll be nice to kids, but adults take a full.
Okay,
acting.
he was terrible. He was the
Yeah.
worst. Even the Sarah Gadon, the wife.
Uh-huh.
I thought she was fine. I have no real problem with her. I'm like, it's fine. No problem here.
Listen,
Well, she had.
nobody was really hitting it out of the park in this one.
Whoa, DJ or Diggins, excuse me. You bite your tongue, okay? There were two actors in this movie that were hitting it as far out of the park as maybe even three, I'd say. That fucking hit it out of the park, and it's a joy to watch. And we'll get to them one at a time, but yeah, I think some of them deserve quite a lot of credit for being amazing.
I'm willing to hear this argument when it comes.
Okay, so I'm mostly stoned because I'm trying to figure out who the director is, but I guess it's episodes, so I don't know if one person directed the whole thing, which is insane.
Oh god,
it's supposed to be a movie.
There's no way it's filmed like that, right? I guess it would cut down on production. I don't know.
I guess it's series directed by Phil Abraham, so that is a guy who directed. Oh, Get Out. He directed some.
He
of
directed
Daredevil?
Get Out. Wow.
Yeah. He directed. Okay, this is what this man has directed.
I legitimately, for a second, was like, "No, he didn't."
Yeah. Oh no, it was a big it was all marketing, man. It was all Phil doing all at Get Out. He directed some episodes of Glow, some episodes of Orange is the New Black, some episodes of Daredevil, but not 3 or 4 in a row. It was always just all right, one for this season, an episode of Ozark. Episode of Defenders, episodes of Mad Men. So this guy is your classic workman, just, show up, do your job, and go home kind of director.
Nice.
Yeah. And so he did this. Stars all those guys. It's based on a book, kind of, or a short story, like you were saying. I would say probably loosely, but I don't know. I haven't read it.
It's extremely loosely on the short story.
Yeah, it's
pretty much.
pretty.
The only thing is a human gets hunted, and that's the only connective tissue at all.
So, with that all being said, let's take a shot at the IMDb summary. I'm going to start with Diggins this time.
Ooh.
Diggins, what do you think Most Dangerous Games IMDb summary is?
Drowning in debt and dying of cancer. Dodge. Whatever the fuck his last name is.
Maynard. Dodge Maynard.
Times.
Oh,
yeah. Times. But for some reason, and I'll just real quick, IMDb summary has a different name for this character.
Fucking
in the IMDb
amazing.
summary, he is Dodge Maynard. I don't know what that's from.
Are you serious?
What?
Oh my god.
I'm totally serious, but yeah, it is Dodge Times now that I think about it.
That
Anyway,
is
sorry, go on.
Drowning in debt and dying of cancer, Dodge Tynes accepts an unusual offer in order to leave something behind for his wife and unborn child.
Okay. DJ, what do you got?
Actually, probably nailed it. After failing to sell a building he owns, Dodge Tynes must enter a dangerous game of being hunted for sport. If he can succeed, it'll be the greatest payday his family has ever seen.
Oh, this is a tricky one. This is a really tricky one because you both got about half of it. So I'm going to give it to... If one of you had even said Dodge Maynard instead of Dodge Tynes, I would have given it to you. That would have been my tiebreaker. But you couldn't even follow my instructions.
If one of us had said the wrong name that we could only possibly know by reading the summary...
After I told you, you guys both still said Dodge Tynes.
Well,
but
because I wanted to be right.
It's fine. I'm going to give it to DJ.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. So here's what Diggins got pretty well. Desperate to take care of his pregnant wife before a terminal illness can take his life, Dodge accepts
an offer. Is the whole thing going to rhyme?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Maybe that's why they changed his name. Dodge Maynard goes to the graveyard. No. So then DJ's kind of parts come in, and I think DJ had the phrase "dangerous game" or "deadliest game" or something, and Diggins did not.
That's true.
So it's Maynard accepts an offer to participate in a deadly game where he soon discovers that he's not the hunter, but the prey. So I'm going to give it to DJ just because that's more integral to the plot.
What?
Okay, but also, like, it was always clear to him that he would be the prey.
Yep.
Like, that was in the offer.
Correct. That is where
not
I
a
think it
surprise.
lies to you. However, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's a fine IMDb summary except for that bit. That bit feels very like we have to have it end with some sort of reveal and it's like, but the prey. Real quick, does anybody remember the poster for this? It's a funny poster. It's the world's most dangerous game, all big. And then you know what? I'll share it in the chat because this is part of like the problem with this movie. As a movie that I watched and paid no money for, I thought it was fine. This would never work in a theater. Like this is nowhere near a theater quality. Look at this hideous poster.
What's with the big knife that's bigger than Liam Hemsworth?
It's called perspective, TJ.
But then the real question is, why is the town in like weird sepia tone? Even like underneath him, it's clearly under a filter. And also, what is he standing on?
What is he standing on?
I think it's supposed to be an unfinished building.
But
I think it is too, but it's yeah.
I'm not saying it is a good representation of that, but I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Oh, sure. That is what they're going for poorly.
And I love the idea that they were like, all right, Liam Hemsworth's in this movie, right? Yeah. Well, what's the picture of him going to be? Well, obviously he'll be in a suit, but he's never in a suit in the movie. Well, like for 1 second he is. He goes to his presentation, and then he goes hunted. No. He puts on his like tracksuit and then does it, and also he gets like all shot and stuff and whatever. Not like shot, but like all beat up. So that would definitely be the image we'd want to send. It almost looks in this like he is the man in charge of the game. He is the Christoph Waltz type, but no, he is in fact the gamester.
Also,
the gamee.
Also, not for nothing, Liam Hemsworth is a fairly handsome gentleman. I don't know if that's why he was cast, but he is. I don't know why it's a 1/4 shot of him, so you can't see his handsomeness.
I can tell you this, DJ, he wasn't hired for his ability to act.
Well,
Diggins, come,
Diggins. All right. I think it's weird that the sky in this shot is blue. However, the town is like a negative of a town. You can see like some of the skyscrapers, especially the ones like right behind his butt, are like negative. I don't understand. I don't know what they were doing with this. But yeah, there's also a knife.
Speaking of that, do you guys know what city this movie takes place in? I feel like they were kind of unclear about that.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it. The city populated exclusively by young Liam Hemsworth types, as far as I know.
And not by any amount of cars.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, when you're at baseball games on, everybody's there,
Well, not even baseball. There's only hockey.
Yeah,
this town apparently only has hockey, which is weird because I wouldn't say that like the Red Wings are like the Detroit team, but whatever.
Really?
Oh, was this in Detroit?
Compared to who is the Detroit team?
I
then
would
for
say
you?
either
the Lions.
I think the Lions. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they like the Red Wings more. But, I mean, Detroiters
Or
definitely.
actually,
tweet
no. I
us.
take it back. The Pistons, because they're the only team among the four that have a really good history and have won a championship within the past 20 years. So I would actually say the Pistons.
I thought the Red Wings are pretty good. Aren't they like one of the original 6 basketball or hockey teams?
They are, and they were perennially good, but they've recently been bad. And they haven't won like a championship in a while. All right, whatever. I don't know. Anyway,
Conference
DJ only
championship in
understands
09, but whatever.
right.
DJ only understands being a fair weather fan who only likes
Yeah.
teams when they're doing well. He's
Yeah,
not a
what
real
Diggins
fan.
said. Wait a minute.
But so okay. So then this movie is like we were saying. It's got Liam Hemsworth. He's in Detroit. He's got some sort of terminal illness. We'll get to it. Also, he is a guy. I think
He is a guy.
DJ said in his explanation that he is some sort of real estate developer or whatever.
He owns his own construction company.
Yeah,
Whatever that's
and a
worth.
building, right?
That he took all of his friends and family's money and failed to turn into anything.
Yeah, Detroit, huh? That's like such a weird little Detroit's a really cool city, but it feels like a weird motivation to give this character. Is like he's just a failed businessman. He's got this gigantic property that nobody wants, but still, it's like I don't know, man. This guy seems like he's doing okay.
He's hanging on.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine. I think his family's gonna be fine. Like, I mean, it's not great that he's got terminal illness, but like he seems to own a big giant building. That's cool.
Yeah, that no one will give him money for because it's
What's it called? Does anybody remember? The Tan Lyle or something like that.
Carrington.
Carrington. There we go.
Damn,
yeah.
good job, Diggins.
In fact, he
Well, I
owns-
actually watched the movie, DJ.
Well, oh my! You didn't remember his last name was Tynes, so
You thought it was Maynard, you fool. Dickens watched this movie exclusively with a press release in hand from a couple months before it came out. Why did they do... I don't know. So he also owns... Does he own another building?
I don't think so.
His home?
Well,
No. Oh, that too. But what about the
His-
place where...
that was his father's old motor company.
Right, but whose is it now?
I think it's just an
Nobody's?
abandoned building, which
Yeah.
So he
begs-
kind of has that.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Well, no, he might not own it. It might just be like a foreclosed building that the bank owns.
Right.
It does beg the question: why did it have power? Whatever.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. All of the...
And also
the fact
big
that it's,
vats of acetone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it seems like it's usable in a situation that will come up later makes me go like, no, he owns this too. He's like a real estate mogul Maynard man or whatever, Dodge Maynard. I'm not calling him Dodge Maynard. That's probably the original screenwriter, and then he was like, Noam Tynes. I don't even know what that means though. what value that would give. Okay. So the plot, there's 15 episodes, astounding amount of episodes. As someone who usually takes a break halfway through the movie and goes to sleep and then finishes it later, 15 times, it's like stop a movie and watch an ad is a lot. As a movie, so forgetting about all of the quibbiness and just talking about as a film, imagine you watched it in a whole sequence together. What did you guys think of this thing? Let's start with DJ, since you won the thing.
I didn't love this movie. I honestly think like it's hard to separate the Quibi nature from it, just like being broken up, like from the quality of the movie, because there's some like really weird cuts and stuff like that. I didn't find it all that interesting, and I don't know why it refused to have a resolution, but the movie just kind of ends. When I had like a fair amount of questions, I think the acting's pretty meh. I think there's some like batshit crazy choices that this movie makes, and overall, I'm like, honestly, it's pretty bad. Like, there could have been like a Quibi version of I don't know, like Pitch Perfect or something, or like Pitch Perfect 2, like a bad one, and I would have been like, this is fine. But I just found it like really dumb. I didn't like
your
it.
big problem with this movie is it wasn't Pitch Perfect.
Yes.
A movie starring an actor you hate that I imagine you haven't seen. Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
Oh hell yeah!
Why? You don't like her. Was this where you learned you didn't like her?
Yeah.
Like Anna Kendrick?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Quibi's own Anna Kendrick.
That's true.
I picked that
I mean,
example
every
on
streaming
purpose,
service
by the
has
way.
an Anna
I picked a
Kendrick
movie
thing. Okay.
that I regard as like pretty bad, but like I know it's like I I shouldn't say that I don't like, but I recognize is good, and I think might work on a platform like Quibi. That's a more accurate representation of like where I'm at. Like, I don't get it, but I know people like it, so it'd probably work on Quibi.
And that's a really interesting. I was not expecting that.
Which
all
part?
Right, Diggins. That last part where you're like, I wish it was a different movie.
Yeah, I do.
I think this movie is marketable in a very, like, simple way, kind of. It's like, oh, it's a story you kind of know, and it's got these guys.
It's a dad movie.
It is a dad movie.
But also, like, it's for little girls, right? Like, those are the, like, people that like Luke or Liam Hemsworth. Or Luke Hemsworth. Which one is this?
This is Liam.
Liam.
I will say, I'm sorry, finish Nando, and I'll
That's all I got. It's just he's one of those guys that shows up in stuff that's like Hunger Games and maybe not little girls, but like he seems to be out of the three Hemsworths the one positioned not exclusively, but if you see him in a movie, you're like, this is for the like people who liked Hunger Games and people who like, I don't know, I guess he's always trying to like reinvent himself and it never quite works, but he's the cute one. Whereas Chris Hemsworth is like the tough one in Star movies, and then Liam is the thinking man's Hemsworth who's in Westworld. Oh, sorry, Luke. Why did they name two of them with L's? Anyway.
Well, once they had Chris, they were like, well, we're not really going to try with these other two.
Yeah, that's fair.
So one of the interesting things about... Sorry, just real quick. One of the interesting things about Quibi is that some of their choices, they grabbed people that actually are liked by the youth. Like, Diggins, I know you made the joke last week, like, all these kids on their dang phones, right? And that's, like, kind of a misguided thought that Quibi had. But, like, they did grab talent that is genuinely liked by, like, your Gen Zers, like Chrissy Teigen, like Liam Hemsworth,
Chance the Rapper,
exactly, and
those gay guys that have all their friends that are really famous on, like Ilana Glazer and Rachel Bloom.
Yeah, like the second episode of Punk'd has like that YouTube star who's like, even the celebrities on Punk'd.
That
like,
episo's so stupid.
So
by
dumb.
the way, is that the bar mitzvah one?
Yes.
Oh my god! We're gonna
this.
trick her into thinking she's in a bar mitzvah. What the heck?
Right?
Tickets, real quick. We have to take this
really
aside.
Dumb.
So it's insane. So okay, real quick.
It's
this
the dumbest one.
Little aside for Punk'd on Quibi. So there's this, and I'm gonna forget the name and whatever. This is like famous YouTube person that is enjoyed by the children's.
She's some comedian. Like she's not on the younger side. Like she's not like 15 or whatever. But I think. Yeah, she appeals to, like, your Gen Zs.
Yeah, and so the premise is that they set up a fake interview with her for, like, BuzzFeed or whatever. And the interview's in, like, this just random-ass building. And then, as she's leaving the interview, she slams a door into this girl, and it's her bat mitzvah. Yeah.
She slams the door into the face of a girl walking down the hallway. And the girl's like... Help me, here, come with me to my family. And it turns out it is the middle of this girl's bat mitzvah, and she makes the actress hang out with her.
Yeah.
Like, on stage or whatever.
She says,
it's
like,
insane.
part of the thing. It's so dumb. It's crazy.
And then they kill the other friend in it, which is the best part. Honestly, at a certain point, I like it as a written thing, because it's so silly and stupid. That, like, I don't buy it as for a second as an actual prank show, but I do kind of enjoy watching it just to see what the prank is going to do next.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolute garbage. But yeah, that one.
Right. So Quibi has done this thing where they're getting celebrities and people that the children's like genuinely, but they're misusing them to the nth fucking degree. Like, it's crazy.
Well, how about this, DJ? Yeah. Let's say every Quibi show was one show or something. Like, it was all it's all filmed on Quibi Studios on day one of Quibi. Mm-hmm. Everybody was there at the same time. Is there another Quibi star that you would swap out for Liam Hemsworth in this movie to make a better movie?
Oh, God. Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah, that's what he should be doing. I don't know. I think he's too cool for this. I think I need someone a little more kind of everyman-y.
So,
yeah.
I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but so one of my comments on this movie that I really didn't like was, so yeah, Liam Hemsworth in this movie is like your everyman, but I feel like a better premise for this movie, and what would make it a lot cooler and probably speaks more to my Fast and Furious sensibilities, if like Dodge Tynes was an ex-Marine who was like Black Ops, Navy SEAL. I know I'm mixing a lot of stuff here. Just like super mega killer. And he, like John Wick style, gave up that life. And, you know, he gets the cancer thing.
This movie wants to be John Wick so bad.
But that's the thing.
All
like,
the movies these days want to be John Wick. It's really hard to find one that doesn't.
It's so not. But, like, the thing is, like, so when he's in the pen with the bathroom, I'm like, oh, are we going to learn that he's secretly, like, the deadliest man alive with a pen?
Oh, my God,
And, like,
yeah.
absolutely not. But if it was that case and he was John Wick, this movie is 1,000 times better. And ergo, put in Idris Elba instead of Liam Hemsworth. And even better,
I have a very different example.
Oh, well, I was just going to say one last thing. Have Liam Hemsworth race Mr. Block in the NASCAR show. Just totally switch those guys out.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is equally unqualified to do that, so, you know, it doesn't make a difference to that show.
Right, you got to sync one show to make the other one good. Really, they're sacrificing one to...
But we're not even syncing
dregs.
Elba versus Block because it's not good to begin with.
That's true. Yeah, so net positive if we swap.
Diggins, you had Diggins,
yeah, who's yours,
thing?
Dickens?
Who's my what? Oh, no. I just meant I have a different example of how this movie would have been better if it was more John Wicky. But it's more specific.
I think I know what Diggins is going to say, and I agree. But
wow, that
I also,
was quick.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying, DJ, and I think yours works. Except I think then it just becomes like I don't know. I want a more desperate guy. However, I am looking at the Quibi stars, and none of them quite fit that bill. I could see maybe Rachel Brosnahan. She could do it. That kind of be fun.
So
I don't think what's his name could do it. Like Kiefer Sutherland, who is another one of the Quibi stars, but I have a feeling there's somebody in here. I mean, you gender flip it and have like Anna Kendrick do it, and like, that's probably fine.
So, Nando, question.
Yeah. Question.
Why couldn't our desperate man be like an ex-Marine special op guy? Like, why can't he get the cancer diagnosis that, like, totally just, you know, makes him, you know, join the hunt?
Well, because he's too good at it. I want a guy who really does have to scramble and, like, think his way out of situations, which isn't what this guy does either. But, like, John Wick is fun because John Wick just does a bunch of flips and like does cool gun stuff. I guess you could put somebody in here who's like really good at like martial arts and make a fun movie. So like you know, a John Wick kind of type of movie, but I would like to see more of like I'm trying to think of someone that's like a really normal guy who's just like kind of from Detroit, and that's kind of all he's got.
So this guy.
Yeah, well, sure, yeah. Except he's not tall and a good runner or whatnot. But like, I want someone
he played
who's
college football, Nando, which means he's an American hero.
I don't think it was football.
Yeah.
I think it was like track.
I think so too.
Because in that like radio call, it said he won the 400.
Oh, okay.
So that was my guess. I
don't know. They were talking about college sports, and he, for some fucking reason, says Wolverine instead of Mississippi when he counts long. So I figured he must have been a college football guy.
I mean, he probably was a Wolverine, but just like, yeah, you think like, oh yeah, Wolverine football. It's like, no, Wolverine track star.
So here's an actor that I'm just looking up like news from today, and I'm like, oh yeah, him. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm thinking. Like a guy who's scrappy. That's what I want from my Most Dangerous Game guy. I don't want someone who's incredibly prepared, because then it's like, what's he doing there? Like, why did they get him? I wouldn't mind, like, something where one of the characters that's hunting him is John Wick, but, like, they all are. But, like, I'm thinking, like...
That's part of my take. They all should have been John Wick instead of not being John Wick.
A couple of them were kind of John Wick.
None of them were John Wick.
Wanted to be John Wick. None of them are.
Oh, so your take and mine are very different then. But so we'll get to these as we go. I don't want to get on this for too much. Diggins, what do you think about this movie, Most Dangerous Game?
It
starring
stinks.
Hemsworth. Oh no,
there
Diggins!
There it fucking
Diggins,
is.
no!
My boy.
This movie's
Thank
bad.
you, Diggs. My boy. I love
Bad
you.
take, Diggins. Bad take. It's
No,
great.
no. The correct take.
I mean,
Bad take,
I
Diggins.
agree with DJ where it's hard to separate it from its quibbiness, because its quibbiness is what causes it to be like 6-minute stretches of ludicrous cliffhangers and bad editing. And it's never interesting enough to like warrant wanting to keep watching it. And
yeah, it's true.
Its ability and its like desire to manufacture like wild twists and drama, like they never manifest into anything. Like none of the twists really mean anything, and it blows most of its actual surprises really early. And then the ones that it doesn't blow, it either makes them really uninteresting or has them completely inconsequential.
Well, I mean, there's one big twist that, and we'll talk about this. No spoilers. Not because we think we're going to ruin it for you, but just because it's kind of more fun to play it straight for a second and then get into the twist. But yeah, I think the quibbiness of it maybe highlighted that flaw the most. Where it's like, if this was a movie on Netflix, I'd maybe sit down and watch it. But if every 6 minutes Quibi's like, "Hey, you still into this?" The answer's almost always going to be no. For like a lot of movies that are okay.
Yeah, if you explicitly give me an out in a movie this uninteresting, I'm gonna take it.
Well, especially when the sequencing is bananas. So, for instance, the first episode, like, kind of explains our hero, the trouble
this
he's
is the
in.
most egregious example of its quibbying.
And, well, I mean, I think it's really bad. And, like, what an idea of what the game is, and then the second episode is a fucking flashback. Like, that's crazy.
Then the second episode is like, this is what the opening of the movie actually is. We just put that there so you'd watch the movie.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
Which is a relative, not the exact same thing, but a relative of what, if you will all recall, what I called the number one hack shit flash forward openings.
But it doesn't
That's
even...
right, your extractions and whatnot.
But it barely flashes forward. It flashes forward like...
Right. I'm saying it's not the same thing.
Right,
the flash forward to the end or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a relative of being like, let's show them like the interesting premise thing first, and then establish the things that make you understand and care about that interesting premise. And I'm like, well, now it's too late. Now I already don't care.
Well, I think you could do a version of this where 1 and 2 are the same episode and they're just like mushed together. So you have the conversation as a framing device for the background. Like, I don't think it has to be completely linear, but I know what you guys mean. Although I do think the first episode was so much of kind of what I was expecting from this story that I was happy to see it first, because I think if it was the first bit, like if the first episode was the second episode, I would have never finished it.
If the first episode had gone and then the story just went from there and it didn't like flash back and was clearly like written, and they showed us what were clearly written as the first scenes, and then they just stuck this one at the beginning, then I would be fine with it. If it was like actually written to be the first scene, that's totally fine. It's a totally justifiable way to open a movie that is edited this way. But the fact that they actually go back and it has a normal movie opening that they just don't put first makes it ridiculous.
Bananas. It's bananas.
Do you think that was an after-the-fact decision? That was like, well, this is too boring, we have to start with the Christoph Waltz bit?
1,000%.
Yeah, I kind of do too. What other thoughts did you have about this one, Diggins? Like general thoughts. No spoilers. Not that they matter, but there is one.
There's one. And there's one that I wish had been true and isn't. And I will get there. Yeah, it's not interesting. I think they do a terrible job of making you care about the protagonist. I really didn't even care if he won or not at the end.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he's incredibly boring and not sympathetic.
I was ready for him to die. Like, I'm like, all right, let's do it. It's time, baby.
You know what? I could have done with a Luke Hemsworth type, honestly. The schlubbiest of the three. Like a normal guy. I kind of want to see him succeed.
Yeah, it's like they have this everyman... They're trying to have, like, this everyman character, but he's, like, ridiculously handsome Liam Hemsworth who, like, aspires to be a real estate mogul and owns a building. Like, kind of fuck this guy, actually.
Yeah. Like, he wakes up early, goes running and shit. It's like, that's not a good person. That's a villain. We're not supposed to like that guy. And that's why I think the hero of this movie is one of the hunters, who is great. And the villains are all the rest of them.
I know which one you think is the hero.
He's the hero of the movie. He has the most developed character of anybody in this movie.
Nixon, right? Definitely Nixon.
I already forgot all their names. The first one.
Yeah. I'm pretty.
Can I just say they all have fake alias president names, which are largely in order, except they skip a president.
Ford?
They skip, yes, but let me build up to it. They skip it there, and also they named their main character Dodge, which means they passed up 2 opportunities in this movie that fucking loves reminding you that it takes place in Michigan to name somebody Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Was that suddenly too obvious, despite everything else about this movie?
Maybe they only wanted elected president aliases.
But then name your main character. Your main character's name is Dodge. Name it Ford instead.
I like Dodge. I think it's a cool name.
Because he's dodging the hunters. Like, I think that's why.
Ford is a real name, unlike Dodge. No one's named
His
Dodge.
dad was really into cars.
I think that's why I liked it so much.
His dad was so into cars. Had to name him Dodge.
You guys were all named after the thing your dad liked the most, right? Like his
yeah.
favorite hobby?
My name is my dad's name, so
I was going to say, I almost was, because my dad wanted me to be a junior.
There you go.
Well, so good points, everybody. You're both wrong. This movie's great. No, just kidding. It's not very good, but I see what it's going for. There are flashes in there of a movie I'd actually really want to watch. And obviously, the quibbiness of it that we were talking about is kind of the problem. I think there are 2 other problems, 2 other things that they got wrong. The first one being Liam Hemsworth is bad. He is not... Like, honestly, even another actor who's like a Jai Courtney, I'd almost be like there's like this stable of Hollywood white guys that all kind of could swap in for each other in any moment. You got Charlie Hunnam, who is actually pretty good. But then you got like the guy from Fast Furious 8. You got Jai Courtney. You got John Carter on Mars. And you got this guy. And like, it's almost all of them. I don't know. Out of all of them, this one, Liam Hemsworth, is the one I have the least familiarity with, and I've never seen in a movie I liked. Does he have stuff? Like, does he have like like good movies he's from? Does anybody like him?
Is he in that movie? Isn't it Romantic, or is that a different Hemsworth?
Isn't that Chris Hemsworth?
No, it's not Chris.
I haven't seen it, so I think it's probably him, though, based off of kind of what I've heard of the pitch for the movie.
Romantic?
I don't think it would work with Luke.
Yeah, that's got.
And the 4th Hemsworth from the Good Place, I don't think exists.
Yes, that is Liam Hemsworth. So he's in that movie.
Okay. Is he good in it? Is he funny?
Maybe
he's funny.
So I haven't seen it. Michelle watched it on a flight to California, I think, once, and she said it was pretty okay.
He's in the Nicolas Cage movie Knowing.
I feel like I've seen that, but now I'm like, I don't know if I have. It's the one with the kid, right?
You're going to have to be more specific than that.
Well, it's like, so there's 2 movies where Nicolas Cage can predict natural disasters. One's because a kid has a bunch of numbers, and the other one's because he can flash back in time. Right. I'm pretty sure it's the kid one.
Yeah, it's not the flashback in time one. That's next.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember him in that. He's mostly from Hunger Games. He did a movie called Black Hat, I think, where it was like supposed to be a cool hacking movie, and it was dumb. I'm not saying this guy's a bad person, but he does not.
He's rich and famous, so he probably is a bad person.
Yeah, it's fair.
So, guys, I have our resident Liam Hemsworth expert, and she's going to tell you how good Liam Hemsworth is. Just talk about how he was in his Romantic.
Definitely not an expert, but I watched Isn't It Romantic on a flight, to California?
Yeah, I think it was to California.
And I thought he was very charming, handsome. He was good. He played like this dreamboat kind of character that would be like in those romance novels that you read about.
Right.
And
so he's like a parody of himself.
He'd be on the cover, kind of draping himself across a pillow with his dress shirt open, revealing his rippling muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this one I have here in my office, or this one I have here in my office. It's all I'm reading these days. It's the quarantine. I've gotten through all the rest of media, and I'm down to Danielle Steele romance novels, so what are you going to do?
You could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was good. I thought he was good. He was charming and handsome. And he fit the role that he was trying to fit within that specific movie. That's all I can say.
I'm happy that he's doing okay, because you know what? Now I'm looking at some of the other things he's been in. He was in Workaholics. Do you guys remember that? Ever seen that show? He's like he's their boss who comes in from another company, and he's like Wolf of Wall Street, I think. I'm pretty sure that one's really funny. He was also in Expendables 2. Have you seen that?
I've seen Expendables 2, but what is he in that movie?
So he's the expendable that dies in the second or third scene, who's like the brand new one who loves Expendables so much that he has a little note written to them in case he dies.
So
about
he's
how
the
much
most
avenged
expendable?
He is the only not expendable because he dies, and then they're like, shit, we liked him. We need to take this personally, even though with everyone else they just die.
Yeah, what the hell? That's the exact opposite of the premise. It's right in the name, guys.
I know, and this is like I didn't like him in that, but he's fine. I haven't watched Hunger Games movies. I think I saw like the first one.
I read the books, but he's not in those.
Yeah, I mean, he can be if you dream.
You imagine him in it, and you're like, oh god, that's Jesus, Liam Hemsworth.
Do you think this would be better with Chris Hemsworth?
No,
I do. I think he's like a more
Chris Hemsworth is a better actor, so in that sense, probably.
No, I think you were right with Luke, though. I think
Luke is the best of the three for sure.
Yeah, because I would believe
that's quite a take, but all right.
I don't agree with that
best
take.
in this situation.
Look, here's what I'm saying. I just wanted the guy who is cornered in the bathroom stall with the pen, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna find a way out of this.
What you mean, just bust out? Because he's so big and strong.
That was dumb as shit how that actually resolved. Why did he steal the pen? Did he have a plan?
He saw John Wick and he was like, I think I could do this. I'm big and strong.
Yeah.
And then he chickened out.
So lucky that literally every single person in this movie, including him, just loves to blow every opportunity they're given.
Right?
Just loves it.
Phenomenal.
All right, so that's how we all feel. Two rights, or one right and two wrongs. We're gonna talk about the movie and spoilers as they come up. They won't be till the end. But I brought back an old friend, guys, after Quibi.
Oh my god!
Episode that brought back the wheel.
Woohoo!
And as much bring it back as the Quibi, it's spawned out of my computer, and it's excited. It's really happy to be here. I have 10 things on the wheel, I think. Some of them we've already talked about, but we'll blow through them. Here we go. Let's look at the wheel. So in order of things that happen, which is kind of it's almost like a chronological wheel. Let's start with this. The first thing we're
like some kind of line of time.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Better than even that. A wheel of time. I haven't read those books. I know they're books, right? They're going to be movies or something soon.
Probably eventually.
Yeah. If Artemis Fowl can help it, it hasn't completely killed the books to movies genre, but maybe. This movie starts with what might be the best scene in the movie, honestly, which is why I think they messed around with it, which is just Christoph Waltz waltzing around. Christoph Waltz plays a character named Miles Sellers. You get it, guys? What did you guys think of him and his introduction?
I mean, he certainly was the most Christoph Waltz. Also, he played another character from Austria. Who'da thunk?
Well, but was he, though?
Yeah, he said, my parents emigrated from Austria.
Right, but, is he from Detroit in this movie?
He says something about, my father took us here when I was 4 or something like that. So he was born in Austria, but for all intents and purposes, he's from Detroit.
Why he loves the Red Wings.
Right, and he has all of his, and he has that little chat where they do that thing that, what's his name does in Oblivion that I absolutely hate, where Tom Cruise just, talks about a football game in the most general terms possible.
Yes.
Where he's, describing, I remember when they threw the football, they're wide receiver, touchdown, greatest game ever. They have that where it's oh, man, is that a game-worn jersey from the Washington Redskins? That's amazing. That's not a very good Christoph Waltz. I can do a better one. Oh, my God, that is amazing. You have a wonderful Game 1 jersey. That's my favorite. I love it. That's a little better. He is some sort of rich, I don't even know what.
A-hole.
Well, like, but like he's nice in the beginning, but like he's not. But like he's like, oh, I want to help you. Whatever. What's his name? I already forgot.
Dodge.
Dodge, right? Dodge because of cars, right? I want to help you, Dodge. I want to make you rich because I know about all of the death you're facing. So here you go. I'm gonna give you this great opportunity.
When was Tommy Wiseau put in this movie? I'm just curious. Well,
you got the ad-free version, DJ, with Christoph Waltz. The ad-full version is Tommy Wiseau.
I want to help you, Dodge. I want to make you big millionaire. You'll have so much money coming out the ear holes. You never know.
I did not hunt him. Why are they telling these lies? I did not. Oh, hi, Dodge. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll fucking die to see this movie with those three actors in these places. Although I want him to be the Dodge character, Tommy Wiseau.
Right.
That would be amazing.
And then Mark is Miles?
Mark would have to be Miles, and then the blonde would be the blonde. I don't remember either of their names. I mean, Lisa, I guess. Lisa would be Sandy probably or something. I don't know. Val.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so anyway, he recruits Dodge. Now, does anybody remember, I mean, we do, but let's go over this. How Dodge and him get in touch with each other.
So when he is leaving the hospital from which he was brought in because he had a seizure in the middle of the day, and they're like, you got cancer in your brain. The orderly who wheels him out in a wheelchair hands him a card, and it's like, hey, we get a lot of these business cards. They say they can help people who don't have insurance.
And he does not have insurance because he canceled his plan right before this.
I don't know how that works. He's
save money.
Yeah, he removed himself but kept the baby and.
Whose insurance is he on?
No one's. He's uninsured.
He doesn't have any insurance.
Right. But whose was he on?
I think he just bought some because he doesn't appear to have a job.
Yeah.
Well, he owns his own company.
Yeah, a company that only owns an undeveloped building.
Yeah, he seems to be the single, actual guy from the company. So, yeah, so then is his baby a contractor in the company too or something? And he canceled his health care, but the baby still has it?
Okay, added to my list of reasons his character is not that sympathetic. He's like, I'd do anything for my dreams in our life, baby, except get a fucking job.
Yeah.
Well,
he wants to make this building so good.
We don't know that he has the opportunity. Now, I know the guy calls him hey, work for me, but that was after he signed in. And as we know, no do-overs, no timeouts.
I mean, but so, I don't know. I guess I could see it because the idea, so it's Detroit, right? I assume this movie takes place today, or not today because of social distancing, but in these times, and Detroit isn't the hottest of the cities, but that's not an element of it that's played up in any way. It might as well be any city, except for the car thing that happens once or twice. But I think the movie could take an interesting swing at poverty and stuff and how actual people are affected in situations like that, but it doesn't. It's just he got really unlucky, wouldn't you know it? And also, who knows? Maybe did, but it's great. It's so unlucky. What did you guys think of the pitch for the game, the first pitch?
He gets to it right away.
Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah, it really is Dodge, I'm so sorry about your condition. So anyway, you'd never believe it, but there's actually a hunting thingy I do. And the kid's what would you do? I think it was weird where Dodge is I'm just going to tell the police about this. And Christoph Waltz is what would you even tell them that I called you in and told you this? And then I feel you kind of could go yeah, I don't know, maybe. Something like that. I feel maybe the police won't care, but the FBI would probably care. And I feel they could probably find you unless you're in with them. But it doesn't seem like you are, because that's not usually how you respond to that question if you also are in with the FBI.
Dodge, listen, I have a wonderful opportunity for you, Dodge. I have a movie. I want you to be in my movie, Dodge.
DJ, how can you even see out of that glass house? There's so much fog coming from The hot air you're spewing.
DJ, I really need to know, is that you intentionally doing a Tommy Wiseau to make fun of Nando, or is that really your best effort out of Christoph Waltz?
I am doing a Tommy Wiseau not to make fun of
No, he's
Nando.
not. Because it's not a good
to-
Tommy Wiseau. You can do a good Tommy Wiseau. You did an Arnold Schwarzenegger by accident. That's definitely what happened. Wait, okay, all right. Let's everybody do our best Christoph Waltz impression. Okay.
Okay, all right.
We'll do Tommy Wiseau to get ready, get it out of our system, and then we'll do Christoph Waltz. Okay. Hi, Danny. Yes, I'm Lisa tearing me apart. All right, DJ.
Danny,
you
you're doing drugs. Stop doing drugs, Danny. Stop.
And then Diggins.
And he goes, anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now let's all do a Christoph Waltz. I'm going last
Okay.
because I'm mad at DJ. DJ,
Okay.
you're first.
All right. Well, you see, I have this opportunity for you. It's an understandable opportunity. I can understand if you have apprehensions on it, but I work for some very
Sorry, that's the sound it makes when Christoph Waltz gets the superstar, and he's invincible. All right, Diggins, you're up.
I'm going to do Christoph Waltz from a different movie because
Yeah.
I have this one ready to go.
Okay.
It was me, James, the architect of all of your pain.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. He's so bad in that. He's awful in that
That's all
movie.
you're going to give us? I could have done, it was me, the architect of all your pain.
Except you did it much worse. Than
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
this was better than the first one of yours. It's pain. I'm the
architect of all of your pain.
It's me, James, the architect of all your pain.
Well, you see, Django, I go around and,
All right.
I get bounties, and then I take these bounties and I hunt them for sport. You see, it's very simple, Django.
It's a simple proposition for you, Mr. Tiles, whatever the fuck your name is. I kind of forget. You see, I represent a bunch of rich assholes who like to hunt people for sport, and therefore I get them people, and then they hunt them, and we give you some money. I'm really not certain what the value proposition is for my company, because it seems like they'd have to pay us an awful lot of money to do this for it to be profitable.
What is
Alita.
it?
What are you
enough?
doing, Alita?
Is that enough Christoph Waltz for you?
I don't know. I think it could use some work.
Yeah,
All right,
I
let me-
agree. I think we
here's
were slipping
mine.
into Tommy Wiseau there.
Green Hornet. It's me, Christoph Waltz. I have a gun that splits into two guns. Remember me from Green Hornet? Christoph Waltz. No,
Yo-
he's in... What did he say? I'm trying to think of the actual thing he's ever said to movie. It's not Inglourious Bastards, because I honestly can't remember any of his lines in
I
that.
placed the dynamite under the chair right now, so if everything went according to plan, then in 30 minutes the bomb will go off and Hitler will die and everything will go according to plan.
What?
Inglorious Bastards? Nah.
Sure.
Nah.
Oh, this is so much fun. It's me, Christoph Waltz, and I'm here to
Oh,
do
that's
a
a
little
bingo.
bit the thing.
That's
I
a
have
bingo.
I have a dangerous game for you to play at times. I think you're really going to like it. It's very fun. So anyway, that's the best one so far. So I'm 2 for 2. One on
no.
being right about this movie. One about my Christoph Waltz.
I think the record will show that I clearly had the best Christoph Waltz.
All right, we'll put up a poll when this episode goes out on Twitter, and then
God.
I'll retweet it with some caption like "Vote for me, guys," or like "Vote for DJ" to confuse him. And then I'll have to
good
like
one.
block DJ for a second so I can't see it. But then we'll know for sure. All right, other stuff about Christoph Waltz. So I think it's great that he pours Liam Hemsworth a drink for a second. I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking, dude? I imagine this guy's on real medicine, right? He's got all the problems.
But if you're going to die in like 2 weeks, then
fair. I
Which
mean,
is
if you want him to
Christoph
do the
Waltz's
hunt, you probably
argument
don't
in
want
that
his
scene.
liver to explode.
Well, he wasn't going to do the hunt immediately. Like, was Liam Hemsworth going to be like, yeah, where do I sign? Come on. I ain't got time. Like,
I feel like that's the only way he could do the hunt. It's not like, I mean, when he did once finally decide to do it, he just met him one day and he was like, okay, here we go. Here is your phone and give me your keys and okay, go hunt. Everyone come get this man. I think he's great in this movie. And if he wasn't in this movie, it would be unwatchable. I liked how weirdly gregarious he was. And that's just a general Christoph Waltz thing, but I think he really worked. He is one of the 3 good actors in this movie.
I would agree with that. I really like Christoph Waltz generally.
Yeah.
I think he's a great actor. He's really good at his, like you said, the kind of like affable thing. Well, affable yet sinister thing that he's been known for ever since Inglourious Bastards. And this is certainly not the best demonstration of that he's ever done. But
Yeah.
he's doing a perfectly good job.
And he doesn't have to do that much. Most of his job is to stand around and say lines in a Christoph Waltz. Like, he doesn't have to act very much out of that character specifically. He has to act this one emotion where he's surprised, but like it's surprise. He does the same thing 3 or 4 times where he underestimates Dodge. You know, it's like, oh no, I guess Dodge went into a room with one of the killers. Mark the time, the hunt is over, and then like 2 minutes later, there's a scene where one of his underlings is like, "Excuse me, Mr. Boss, he's leaving. Tynes is leaving. Oh, he must have done a murder." Like, I don't know. That never sold me. But other than that, I did quite like him here. How'd you like Liam Hemsworth in that scene?
He's fine.
Boring.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's super boring, but I would still say, like, fine. Like, I don't think it was horrendous. Like, I didn't think...
He's not like bad. He's certainly not the worst actor in this movie, but he's always boring.
No, yeah, I think so too. I think any personality whatsoever would have done, like, it would have been huge returns if he just, smiled for a second so that you thought he had thoughts besides what he was saying out of his mouth. Like, there was no personality whatsoever in that character. And it was fucking infuriating in scenes with the character like Christoph Waltz with lots of personality. Like,
fortunately, those are few and far between in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. And a couple of the other actors he's with are like equally under personality need. Yeah, I did not like him in this. I think he was awful. No, he's fine. I mean, he's like, it's not the worst role ever. I don't know. What did you think? Did you buy him as the character he was supposed to be? Like, did he seem like a real estate developer to you?
No.
Right? He looks like a model. Why doesn't this guy model?
Why doesn't he have a real goddamn job?
Right, like a model. Like a handsome model. Like they dress him on the poster.
You really seem like you're fixated on this whole model thing.
I mean, like, you'll be that handsome and get unemployed and don't think about modeling, dude. Like, it seems like a no-brainer. Not like a no-brainer, but like...
To be fair, this is a Hollywood movie in which the universe of Hollywood movies, everyone is just that handsome.
Yeah.
So it's probably really, really difficult to be a model.
That's true. And this movie, I would say, besides him, I would say in the movie, him and his beautiful wife, perfect, beautiful wife, she's also very, very attractive. Everybody else kind of looks like a normal person, kind of.
I mean, Christoph Waltz is not, like, outrageously handsome, but he, is pretty well-groomed for your average Joe.
Yes, that is a very nice thing. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about him. Christoph Waltz grooming. A+.
What I mean is, he looks better than a person his age normally would.
That's fair. How old do you think he is? Let's take a guess.
60?
In his 50s, 60s, maybe?
Guys, you're never going to believe it.
He's 42.
He's 40. No, he's like in his 70s. No.
Oh, wow.
No,
Oh.
I think he is. I'm sorry. It's hard to search because it keeps auto. Yeah, here we go. He is 63. So yeah, you're right. He's in mid 60s. He does look good. He dresses well because his character's rich. It's easy to look nice when you're rich.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. The problem with I guess my biggest problem with what's his name, Duke Thunderguns or whatever, which is for Red Letter Media. That's what they call what's his name in Jurassic Park world, whatever. Because it's just Jack Action Man. But Jack Action, my biggest problem with him is the movie is like, oh, he's struggling, strapped for cash. Like, he has a house. He's doing okay.
A nice house. That was a nice house.
No one ever discusses, like, why don't you take out a mortgage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, yeah. Especially when we get to his friend's like, I saw $50,000 into your business, man. I'm really being nice about it, but I'm kind of mad. I'm like, yeah, it must be weird to watch someone do that and then be like, come over to my fancy, nice house and suburban Detroit, I would assume, or whatever.
Well, it has to be within the city limits. Because...
Exactly. It is within, yes, it is somewhere in Detroit. That part of it's so stupid.
That's
all right.
insane. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So let's talk about this. Speaking of that, let's talk about Detroit as a city. Boy, is it a city.
Yeah.
Heck
is it a city that seems to have paid for this entire movie?
It must, right? There's got to be something like that going on because it looks so nice. I've never been to Detroit. I have no preconceptions about Detroit from that many movies besides 8 Mile. That's the only movie I can think of off the top of my head that's like, that's what Detroit is like. And
Well,
I think that version is a little rough.
8 Mile is showing off a very different part of the city than this movie is.
Yeah. But this is like, it might as well take place in, like, I don't know, London. It's just mostly nice streets and metros and whatnot.
I mean,
churches, empty buildings.
There are some nice buildings in Detroit. It's like one square block, but yeah, like it's mostly not great.
Well, I guess it's just that it has no character, and there's no like, if this was in Philly, you would assume at some point they'd have to go to like the Liberty Bell or something, or New York. There's a million places, and that's one thing that John Wick is good at. Is like visiting locations in New York City, the ones that exist in New York City.
Do you think that's why every 5 seconds somebody is like, "Hey, it's Detroit. We're in Detroit, everybody. Welcome to Detroit." Because they didn't have any landmarks for you to know that you were in Detroit?
I think that might be it, honestly. Do you think a Detroit person would watch this? First of all, do you think they filmed most of this movie in Detroit? I'm not even convinced they did. Yeah. So then, do you think a Detroit person would watch this movie, get all excited, and be like, what the fuck? They didn't even go to Detroit. What's the point?
Where do you think it was filmed? Just like random Hollywood backlot?
Vancouver.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I'm not positive, but it's probably Vancouver.
It's always Vancouver.
Yeah. And that's like funny because it's pretty close to Detroit. Not like that close, but like it's like, just go to Detroit. But
Vancouver's pretty far from Detroit.
Yeah, because Vancouver's the west part of Canada.
Whoa,
if it was Toronto, it'd be like, whoa.
If Toronto's like across the border from Detroit, that would be really funny.
I guess just Detroit in terms of like as opposed to New York. And it's like, well, of course you can't get New York because it's far from Vancouver, and also it's expensive to shoot there. It's like this movie costs no money and it's not that far. Like it's like, you can't drive all the equipment, but like there must be some tax break. What is Detroit not doing that they can't attract the talent of Quibi to be in a movie about Detroit and have it filmed in Detroit? I just don't get it.
Nightmare to film, maybe? Like, maybe it like really sucks to film in Detroit. I don't know.
Impossible. Let's talk real quick. What's in Detroit, guys? What do we remember from Detroit? From this movie?
They have boat tours.
They do have boat tours. They have boat? Yeah.
They have like, the Red Wings. They got those.
Yeah, the Red Wings are in Detroit. That's true.
There's an above-ground subway.
Yes.
It's not a subway, is it?
I don't know how that works. I've heard the term above-ground subway. I assume that's a thing. You're in New York. You guys got above-ground subways. Maybe the subway goes underground at some point. Who knows? I'm not in charge of Detroit subway. Maybe that's a deleted scene where he rides the subway around for a couple hours.
Oh my God.
That would have been an amazing plan.
And up and down and up and down. So you got that. You got office buildings, empty office buildings, as far as the eye can see. An airport, I think, at some point, or no, an airport. Where does he go? Where he first meets the Texas guy or Louisiana guy?
It's just some random building, isn't it?
Is it like a mall?
Isn't that isn't that the GM building?
Is that what that is? Okay, yeah.
I thought so.
It's got a church. An empty church. Everything's empty. Ugh.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people in Detroit. Something I gathered from this movie.
There's no people, there's no cars, nothing.
Yeah, it's a pretty great place to do the hunt. Unless you want the people. But, yeah, that's pretty wild. And then the other thing that it has is, besides, like, abandoned buildings that are, like, the ones that the main character has in the one that he's trying to renovate, there's also, like, abandoned car factory buildings for, stuff. I think I have a hard time buying Detroit. I feel like it's so hard to make a movie like this and fuck this part up. Make the city not feel like a character in the movie,
Well, they found a way.
Yeah, they really
right.
did. Like, imagine if a Bad Boys
Even
movie
though-
wasn't filmed in Miami, or it was, and it, like, you didn't even notice. That'd be so weird.
They lied about it.
Yeah.
Because that is what it feels like. It feels like they lied about it.
Did we ever see a character say Detroit on screen? Maybe not.
Do we ever see a character not say Detroit on screen?
Good point. Trying to think what else.
I'm
I feel like
sorry.
there was-
I'm sorry. I meant Detroit.
Detroit.
Oh, and then I forgot. There's also like the projects in Detroit, the area where the movie kind of gets closer to the end.
Abandoned playground.
I love.
Maybe not
that.
abandoned. It's at night, so
Not-
who knows?
As a part of the movie that seemed to have the most promise, I was like, oh, this would be a great way for this movie to end. Just all these dorks show up here and get murdered. So,
That's
like,
what-
we're gonna kill you with
How
a
is that
knife.
not how?
Well, because of the one rule bullshit that we'll discuss that is abruptly changed so that fight goes on for longer than 1 second.
But you figure if, like, you're in the drug dealing game, I feel like you'd be slightly more prepared for something like that. Like, because doesn't the guy knock? So it would
Yep.
be like battle stations, not like, hey, let's all crowd by this wooden door and see what's up.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
I don't know.
Hey, this dude's been threatening us, saying people are going to come, and now someone's knocking on our door right when he said people would come. Why don't we just all stand around and go see what that's about?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I also got a text that says someone's climbing the side of the building. What the heck? This is a prank. This must be a prank. Chance the Rapper, don't you dare punk us with this
Oh my
nonsense.
God.
He's just such
My
a fun
close
guy.
personal friend for Chance the Rapper. What
Who
are you
doesn't
doing?
love Chance the Rapper? He's a friendly guy. I feel like he could be friends with Luke Hemsworth, and then we can be friends with anybody. Okay. So then, so we get the character of Detroit. So Detroit. So okay. So Liam Hemsworth has some sort of disease, some sort of like very generic brain tumor kind of thing. Yeah, and he has weeks to live, which is, I don't know, maybe, who knows. I don't know how realistic that is. But then he like, oh, okay, maybe I will do a hunt. I didn't want to before, but I will. So he agrees to do it. Can anyone? So he kind of gets most of the information he's going to need from Christoph Waltz on the balcony, right?
Yes.
Can we go over some of the rules of the hunt, or like kind of what he's
All right.
prepared, what he should know going into it?
So does he say there's 5 people after him there or in the diner? I can't remember.
In the diner. I'm pretty sure that
Okay.
doesn't come up until the diner, which like
I
that's something.
agree.
Tell me early,
Well,
dude.
this is a general part of Liam Hemsworth's like inability to think through literally anything in this movie.
Yes.
Which is, so in this scene that we're talking about now, Christoph Waltz explains the rules of the hunt to him. Except what he does is he explains Liam Hemsworth's rules for the hunt. And at no point does Liam Hemsworth ever ask in this scene or in any other, so what are the rules for the other guys? Like, what
Right?
what can and cannot they do? Information that would be incredibly useful for him to know, what their limitations are. But he at no point expresses any amount of curiosity over this whatsoever.
Right? He
Yeah.
doesn't even know going into the hunt that they can't use guns.
Yeah.
Until, like that day, I think, right?
Yes.
Christoph Waltz tells them in the diner booth. He doesn't even ask. He does not ask. Christoph Waltz just volunteers that information.
Can you imagine if just like if there were guns allowed, and so Liam Hemsworth walks out of the diner, sniper shot, boom, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
easiest hunt ever.
I mean, like, and then I guess as Liam Hemsworth's guy, you kind of have to. They're two competing, like not like questions, but like, okay, so how much do these guys want to hunt me, and how much do they want to kill me? Because if they just want to chase me around town all time with their little nightsticks, that's probably going to go okay for me. As long as I, like, am able to steal enough food to eat and go in places where it's like, maybe if people see me, they won't try to kill me. But if they just really want to kill me and they'll do whatever to kill me, then that's a completely different kind of strategy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even figure out that part, which I think makes it hard for us as the audience to like figure out what's going on or prepare for this at all. How much do you think it costs to do a hunt? If you're one of the 5 people that is hunting Liam Hemsworth, how much do you have to pay?
Well, okay, so they do the math for us, and if he wins, he gets $23.5 million.
And he does the math because he's good at math. See, we like this guy.
He's good at math in this scene and in no other scene.
He's a smart cookie.
So it has to add up to more than that, or else it doesn't make any economic sense whatsoever.
Right.
So, let's call it
unless you assume that he's not gonna live. Like if it's like say you could probably start a hunt and be like $1 million everybody, and I'm just gonna promise this guy a lot of money, but we're not gonna give it to him. We're gonna have a phone that we hand him, put up some notifications, and then at the end we're just gonna kill him if he lives.
Well,
but
listen,
either way.
no, that's what the situation would be if the movie was good.
Yeah. Like anyway. So yeah, so $23.5 million.
So let's say let's say they all got to put in $10 million.
That seems low. I feel like, well, what's the overhead for this? I guess is my other question.
That's a great
that's
question.
True. They probably have to spend a lot of money setting this up.
But do they?
Well, yeah, the fake doctors, the fake police, the fake medical. There's so many fake people.
Do you think it's all the
completely
same guy?
Unnecessary fake people?
Yeah. What about? And then you've also got that one guy who's the little pedophile. I don't even know how else to describe that guy. I'm sure he gets a pretty solid check. And then there's all the dudes at Computer Room, where they're all just like doing, I don't even know what they're doing. GPS. One guy must have his GPS, and then another guy must be responsible for the other 5 guys' GPSs. And then maybe a third guy's responsible for calling people. I don't know what everyone else in that room could be doing. There's no assistance given to hunters, and it's not like they're really watching them on, like, security cameras enough that you're like, they're hacking to every single camera. So, like, what's that room? Is it just people doing money transfers?
They've just got to handle the fact that, like, half of the population of Detroit is being paid off by them, so they're just all the different handlers for all the people they've hired.
Right. Yeah, it's a tight operation. Like it seems like you can run it with like 3 guys until you have to start paying all the like out of work improvers to do your other roles, and then bribing other characters maybe. And I legitimately still don't even understand that part, but we'll get to it. Let's talk about so that's what we kind of as an audience can assume about the hunt. So Liam Hemsworth doesn't know any of this. He sits down. What does Christoph Waltz tell him?
So in the first scene or in the diner?
Oh, diner. I think the first scene is just like, you'll be hunted and you'll make money and you try to live, and if you live, you live, and if you don't, you die. But that's like his first explanation is very brief, but the second explanation is where he gets all the specifics, the things that Dodge should probably be considering, should make his decisions later.
He's like, okay, so we're gonna wire money to you every hour that you stay alive. At that hour, your phone that we gave you is going to go off, and your location will be sent to all of the hunters for 15 seconds. If you abandon your phone somewhere, you lose, and you'll be hunted for the rest of your life until we kill you. Also, if you leave the city of Detroit, same deal.
You become a permanent member of the game, which is such a weird thing, because does that mean they have people on payroll who's just like, all right, it's killing time?
Right? And then,
apparently.
And do they make those guys do it, or are they like, you'll never believe it, he lost his phone. You guys get to do this for, like, the next hour. Or, like, not hour. Then it's, like, week and a half. Go crazy.
It's killing time.
Yeah.
And the game lasts 24 hours. If he makes it to the next sunrise, then he's good.
There are 5 guys that are killing him. Five competitors or whatever, hunters.
His cholesterol's way too high. He needs to stop going to that burger chain.
And he is told by Christoph Waltz that the 5 hunters are in the restaurant, in the diner with him at that moment.
Yes.
And he kind of looks around and isn't really able to make any of them. Like, he kind of notices a guy that will eventually be the, God damn it, LBJ? No.
Yeah, the last one?
LBJ.
Yeah, it's LBJ.
Oh, no. That guy's the other. I'm thinking he also sees the third guy. He sees the
Carter?
priest. Yes, he sees Carter. I remember him and being like, I think that guy's going to show up later. He looks like an actor. The other ones, I don't remember. I'd like to maybe even go back and see if I can Like, if you watch it and you're like, oh, yeah, those 5 of them are just all holding newspapers up to their nose. It's definitely those 5.
One of them's wearing a beagle puss.
Yeah. And then Christoph Waltz is like, okay, so the hunt begins. And Liam Hemsworth actually has to ask, like, when does it start? And Christoph Waltz is like, oh, it starts in 10 seconds, go.
More great
like,
info. Thank you. Fucking, oh my God.
I mean, there should be a pamphlet. But, here's what I can't completely put together from Christoph Waltz's point, is what does he want? Does he want a well-informed hunter? Because it seems like later in the movie, it's a little bit later, one of the hunters is going to get upset because of how bad Liam Hemsworth is at this. And I think it's kind of Christoph Waltz's fault. You got to kind of thread the needle between making it too easy for the hunters and too easy for the hunted. But, like, he didn't give Liam Hemsworth anything useful.
I mean, if you're paying $10 million, how easy do you want it to be, I guess is the question.
Right, but I'm saying, like, you probably want them to get a paper that's like, okay, here's the rules. So you have a night to plan almost. I feel like when the guy finds Liam Hemsworth in the bathroom, he's like, wait, this is like, it's been like an hour. This is the worst hunt ever. It's been like a Quibi. This has been 2 episodes. So I'm really pissed. And he's like, apologizing, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And like, it's like, well, I mean, what did you expect? You didn't give this guy any information. He didn't even know when it started. So yeah, of course he's going to suck at it. Maybe like give him a week to think about it or prepare, or yeah, just give him the rules ahead of time. But I don't know. This is a Quibi movie, so it's like it doesn't have time. There's no time.
There's
for
no
rumination.
time.
There really is no time. All right. So the hunt starts. All of this information that Liam Hemsworth knows. What is his plan? Let's talk about Liam Hemsworth's plan. What is it? I still
run
don't know.
around and try to stay in public, but then abandon that immediately when you see like elevator. Like that seems to be the plan.
Yeah, jog. It's mostly jog.
When he went up in that elevator, I was like, oh, does he like have access to an office here where he can like lock himself in or something? But he just seems to be going up a random office building he has no normal access to.
Yeah.
For no reason?
Well, the reason is to hide.
And he's like, I can get away with this because there is a lady in here that has a kid. So he would never kill me in front of the kid lady. And like, that's an insane decision to make. Because like, how do you know, dude?
This is a thing he really, really should have clarified. Because Christoph Waltz at one point says, they don't want to go to jail, so they're not going to kill you in front of a crowd. And Liam Hemsworth really should have been like, okay, wait, are you just saying generally what they will tend to do, or is that a rule? Because the distinction is very important.
And like, what is it? What do you think it is?
I think it's just the tendency, because at one point, the Nixon just decides he doesn't fucking care and tries to ice him in front of 1 million people.
Yeah, he throws it up right, and it goes through the glass of the subway thing, and everyone just looks at him like, come on, bro, not like, whoa, what?
Everybody's like, ugh.
And Nixon's whole thing is that he's like the super rule stickler, so if it was a rule, he wouldn't have done that.
That's right.
Oh my God. What a great movie, guys.
It really is a good movie. So he goes to the so he goes into like a building. Right? He said like crowds are your friend, and he's like, okay. Well, obviously the most crowded place is an empty building. Now if you lived in New York City, let's say, because that's a city we're all familiar with, and assume like little baby Detroit. Like, assume baby New York City is like Detroit. So it's like one church and one subway system, like one subway train. Where would you go if you were doing a hunt?
To hunt, or you start, like I'm being hunted?
To be. Oh, I mean, we know what you would do if you were the hunter. You would teleport to somewhere later and put on the costume. But what would you do if you were the hunted? What would your plan
Times
be?
Square. I would just sit in the tickets thing in Times Square until I passed out, right?
Right? Like, it's pretty easy to get on a line that takes all day in 2020 America.
Yeah.
Like, go buy a fucking iPhone, dude. I don't know. You could probably make some money. Be like, I'll stand on the iPhone line for you.
Yeah, right.
Go to Disney World.
You could
don't go there, but yeah.
Like, go to like a friend's house or apartment. Be like, hey, listen, I can't really explain, but lock your house down. Don't open the door for everyone. We're going to chill out for 24 hours. At the end of it, we'll both be rich.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, that would work apparently. Maybe not in this specific situation, but like, yeah, if he found another friend, it would be fine.
Well,
he seems to only have one friend.
His friend owns a bar. There has to be like a base, like where the kegs are. It's like, look, just put me where the kegs are. It's just, yeah, exactly. Like, why not that?
Well, even if that, could he just lock himself in a public toilet, like in like an actual one,
tried.
like one that's a room, like the kid does in Pursuit of Happiness, not in like a stall, but like any room that you can lock, like Starbucks. Go to a Starbucks and just sit down. There's so many things, and he goes into a building.
He goes
What the
into
fuck?
an empty office building.
And like runs around in a hallway, but it's not like he's like, oh man, I gotta find I gotta find a room with people. He's just like, I gotta keep running until I run faster. Like, it seems like his whole plan is just, I'm just gonna keep running faster than them, and that'll do it. He gets on a bus immediately, and that doesn't work. But like, I don't know.
Well, luckily for him, all of the hunters are as dumb as he is.
Dude,
they oscillate between dumb and clairvoyant. It's a big gap in hunters, but yes.
So LBJ, right? It's like, on the bus, whatever.
Whoa,
And
spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah, no. Yeah, LBJ is on the bus. So the first thing that happens, he runs around, sees a car, is concerned by a car, has no information about the car. He doesn't ask, like, can they drive cars? And it will be revealed that that's just kind of a spotter. So, like, that's...
No. The car is
the priest.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the priest?
Yeah. Because
the spotter is just standing on the sidewalk, remember?
Oh, you're right. But the spotter has a similar car, right? He
Probably.
drives around and will stop places and like look, like sit in the car and watch. And at one point, what's his name cuts his tires. I thought the spotter had a car too.
No, that was Carter's tires, I think he cut.
No,
The only tires that get cut are the taxi, aren't they?
No, he puts the hammer into Carter's tire.
I thought that was the spotter's tire.
Oh, no, that was Carter. He's right.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. So wait, does that guy not have a car? Is he just walking around?
No, he totally has a car because at the end, when Liam Hemsworth is like, "Where is she?" He's pulling the guy out of his car.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. So anyway, he sees Carter's car, and he's like, "Uh-oh, someone's coming to get me in a car." Now, that would have to mean that these guys are really good at hunting. Do you think the hunters know they're going to Detroit? Like, early? Or, like, do you think they just find out?
Well,
like, they're like, all right, we're going to put you on a plane, blindfold you, you're going to wake up in a town.
No, Kennedy must know because her plan is like crazy deep.
Her plan's amazing.
I love her plan. She has the best plan.
It's a really good plan.
So she must have known, right?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I feel like if the others knew, they'd also probably have plans. Maybe they just don't. Well, I guess the Carter at one point, Nixon says of Carter that he does not. No, not of Carter.
Of Reagan.
Of Reagan, that he does not read the rule or like the dossier. So I guess maybe there's like a different. Like, some people are more prepared than others. But, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's funny that not only do they all know, where the guy is at all times because they could just feel him magnetically, but also they all know kind of the best way to get around town because he gets on buses and just runs down alleyways and they're still able to get him, which is amazing.
He is constantly, at all times, bringing himself to a place where no other people are. He escapes from crowded areas into empty areas where he could easily be killed without anyone noticing.
There is one... Sorry, go ahead.
But, like, if you're a hunter, you would never think he would go there. It's almost a brilliant plan. It's just like, there's 50 empty office buildings in Detroit.
Location every hour.
Right, yeah, so he'd have to switch between them frequently. But, like, yeah. Well, but if they got your location, okay, so let's say you're in an empty office building. It's an office building. It's not, you don't see the stairs, I'm assuming, and, like, what floor you're on. You just see he's in this building, and you're like, shit. That's a million floors. How is he? We've got to check every single, and then you would just stand in the hallway, and then you hear an elevator, a door open, and then you would switch from a different house. You could go downstairs, and then they'd never find you. Just hide in that one building the whole day. Probably do it.
So there's one point where Dodge has a really good plan, and it's the plan outside the Red Wings Stadium. I don't know why his things weren't just different versions of that plan.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it is because I think there's a possibility that he got the train plan like happened, and then what's his name? Nixon almost murdered him, and he was like, "Well, I guess they're not going to let me do this thing. Like, I guess I need like 1 million people, and even 1 million people doesn't really work because Nixon still tries to kill him.
How insane is Nixon? Dodge.
He's
Hey,
the best character. He's my favorite. I mean, it's obvious.
The person I'm gonna murder. Where are you?
My favorite.
The really insane thing is it almost works. He's totally looking like, oh, someone's saying my name.
Yeah.
like a fucking moron.
My favorite thing about Nixon, because he is the best one, because he's the one with the most personality, and also I never quite know what his deal is, because sometimes he seems like he's like a gentleman, you know, and he's like, I'm a rich guy, and also he has like an Assassin's Creed hidden blade that he uses to get an ice pick out of his sleeve. But he doesn't play the hunt like a rich stiff. He plays it like Usain Bolt would. And he drives. It happens at least twice, maybe 3 times. He drives his car to a location where he kind of thinks Dodge is, opens the door, just runs out of the car, does not close the door, just leaves it running because he's gonna kill Dodge in the amount of time it's going to take to get back to that car before it gets stolen. He's so into it. I love it.
Oh my god.
Who's your guys' favorite of the 5 hunters? Ooh. So there's there's Nixon, who is the one that's like the main British guy. There's Reagan, the worst one. Well, I don't know. He's kind of the worst one.
I think LBJ's the worst one.
Yeah,
I think Reagan's
LBJ
the worst one because I legitimately couldn't understand anything he was saying. I had to put subtitles on for him. I don't know if anybody else had this problem, but he whispers a bunch of shit in the beginning. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, can we go back to the British guy? Kennedy, who's the priest?
Carter.
Carter is the priest. He's some sort of like, I don't even, what's his deal? He's like
a psychologist.
Yeah,
he's super educated, and he tracks you to the fucking church. I don't know. I mean, him and LBJ have insane, or him and Kennedy have insane plans, but his is improvised, which makes it way crazier.
You know what makes his crazier is that he explains it. Like,
yeah,
it happens, and I'm like, yeah, that's stupid. I'm into it. And then he, like, the start of the next episode is like, here's exactly how this whole thing happened. And I'm like, no, fuck off. I don't want to know how. I want it to be dumb.
And his plan is also dumb. I think his plan gets a pass from me because it happens first. The second time that happens with Kennedy, it's a little bit more like, wait a second. Why are you even talking to people anymore, dude?
But I like hers more because she doesn't explain it.
Yeah,
she's just there.
For sure. Like, do you think this movie would have been better? And the answer is yes, with 100 hunters. And, like, there's just everyone in the city might be a hunter. And maybe it's like John Wick, where if, you know, everybody gets the excommunicado text, they all turn around and it's like, shit.
Yes.
Right? Because that's kind of what 100%. It would have to have been, except there's only 5 of them. What are the odds? How many people are in Detroit? You think, like, 300,000, 400,000? A million, maybe?
Oh, I'm sure it's a ton.
I don't think it's more than 1 million. I think it's maybe 200-300. Yeah. Oh shit, 3.5 million. Well, it's a metro area, but still, I mean, with a 2020 population of 667,000, largest city in Michigan. Yeah. So like, the odds are pretty low that you would run into anybody, but he runs into everybody. Everybody's ever met is somewhere in the city, and they're all like on this track together.
By the way, to answer your question, Nando,
yeah.
My favorite one is Carter, only because his episode thing or whatever, like I know him explaining it is dumb, but it's like a boss level because Liam's like trapped inside this area, and Carter's just like, "You're fucked, dude." And I just like, oh yeah, we get a boss level in this movie, cool. So he was my favorite for that reason.
I think. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, every like introduction of one of the hunters was just, this is reaching back into the deep internet. Like, remember that old Flesh cartoon, Metal Gear Awesome?
Yes,
I do not, but I know what Metal Gear Solid is. Is it that kind of thing?
It's just a retelling of the story of the first Metal Gear Solid in like a Flash animation, making fun of it. And at one point, when like one of the villains like shows up briefly, he just comes in and says, "I'm going to be a boss." And that was all I could think anytime one of the hunters showed up. It was like, yep, we're gonna have a fight, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, like, I think that's the... So, if I'm... As much as I didn't like Luke Hemsworth and just the quibbiness of it, I feel like... Or Liam Hemsworth. I think the problem I had was, like, I think these guys... I think this movie could have worked if the hunters were ratcheted up from, like, a 7 to an 11.
Absolutely.
In terms of just zaniness.
100%.
Yeah, I really wish... Because they each kind of tried. It was like, oh, here's where he's from. Here's this one's accent. Here's his signature weapon. And this is kind of what he looks like. Like, here's what he's wearing. But
I wanted anime-style intros for
Yeah.
every
Yes,
hunter
yes.
that explains their
Seriously.
stupid power or whatever. And then Liam Hemsworth outsmarts them, and we move on to the next anime intro.
yeah. And then the other way to do that, so there's a bit late in the movie where Liam Hemsworth lures the remaining 3 hunters to, because 2 of them are dead. The remaining 3 hunters to an abandoned factory or whatever. And he's like, he turns on the sign and everyone's like, oh my God, it's like he's calling us. And all 3 hunters arrive at the same time. And they all have a greeting. And I'm like, man, if this was the movie, if it was like, he's being hunted by these 5 psychopaths, but they're also, like, friends and don't like each other and stuff. And it's very, like, Office Space, where they're like, ugh, hunt, huh? Yeah, I know. This guy, did you see what he did? He tried to climb the building. What an asshole. Like, that would have also been a fun version of this movie. So either they're anime characters or it's, like, Venture Brothers or something, where everything
Yes.
for Luke Hemsworth is real and exciting and everything else is super mundane.
Liam Hemsworth.
I like Luke Hemsworth as Liam Hemsworth's name in real life. I think he's more of a Luke, honestly. We got Chris is the most action movie star name, obviously, because that is what an action movie star is named in 2020. And then you got Luke and Liam. Now, Liam seems like the lame one. Not to say that there's anything wrong with Liam's, but Luke, like Luke Skywalker, that's your prototypical Hollywood action hero name. And then Liam is like the one who's got personality, you know? I think you could get away with that. But hey,
Well, you'll
that's
have
just
to
me.
take that up with Mama and Papa Hemsworth.
Honestly, they've got so many things to answer for at this point. Mostly the movies that Liam does, but and then some of the Chris ones, and probably Luke too. I don't know what he's up to.
Has he done anything that's not Westworld?
He was in Thor. He's in the Thor. He's the double for Chris Hemsworth in the play.
Oh.
That's the only thing I know that he's done besides that. But okay, so let's talk about the guys in the order we meet them. So first, it is Nixon. Like I said, best one, mostly because he has like the reason I like him the most is because he has gears that he's able to shift in and out of between like bored British psycho like rule breaking or rule like following guy, and then just like I don't even know how to describe him when he's in like hunting mode, but he's just constantly sprinting and he's got crazy eyes and he has this weird little wrist thingy. Do you think they have to all pick a different weapon before it starts? And if 2 of them have the same one, they have to like rock, paper, scissors so they can't have the same one.
I like to
I
imagine
think
that's
so,
the
yeah.
case.
Yeah. And then what do you think the 5th one had? What do you think LBJ's one was before it was a submachine gun?
Oh, he said he has a taser, which feels like it's cheating.
Yeah, that's totally cheating. Yeah, it's bullshit. I don't like that at all. I feel like he should have had a lunch pail or something. Would have been his weapon, but whatever. He doesn't really matter.
His weapon was actually the banana in his lunch pail.
Yeah, that would be some John Wick shit. But okay, so then he has this confrontation in the bathroom. He basically like does that thing where you call a timeout on the playground right before you're getting tagged, and this dude is like, I guess it's not that as much as just Liam Hemsworth is like just he loses completely, and he's like, ooh, I got a pen, and then Nixon calls security and like control, and he's like, "This hunt sucks," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. This is a real bummer, dude."
He spent a lot of money on this.
Yeah, he went and hid in a bathroom, made $100,000. Like, what the fuck? And I don't know how many other hunts there are, like how many other games there are in town, but I don't think I'm ever gonna book another one with Christoph Waltz's guy again if I'm one of the hunters. Can you
You think
imagine?
there are like several hunt services, and Christoph Waltz is only one among who knows how many?
I mean, listen,
Well,
if
not according to the late game reveal, that means nothing.
yeah, well,
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you're Christoph Waltz, if you're one of the other guys, let's say you're Nixon, because I'm assuming they're all like stupid rich too. I feel like you know everybody at the Eyes Wide Shut Illuminati parties. Might as well start your own, because this one is managed horribly. Like, you could do anybody could do a better one than this one. And then it would be fun. I mean, do the real movie, do Private Island. Like, what's the fun of this? Why is the fun part put on a costume and hide in a boat? Like, is that what these people want to kill them? Like the same way that a character in like Clue would? I assume they want the thrill of the kill and like slicing someone's throat open. Like the guy, the sociologist, really just wants to break someone's head open with his dad's hammer. So do that on an island or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so he calls Christoph Waltz. He's like, this hunt sucks. Now, what can either of you guys remember the ingenious way that Liam Hemsworth escapes from this? You'd never imagine.
You want it, Diggins, or you want me?
So while Nixon is on the phone, or when he's hanging up, being like, all right, well, I guess it's time to kill you, Liam Hemsworth is like, aha, here's my chance. I will open the door very quickly. This will surprise him, and then I can run away. And that's the whole plan.
And it works. It
works.
It works so well.
So every time a hunter gets like thrown off his game, it makes it seem like these guys are like first time hunting. It's like what was the movie with the hide and seek where the family was like really
Ready or Not.
It felt very Ready or Not, where it's just like a lot of incompetent murderers here.
That
we're
would
supposed to think they're super competent.
They're not.
Or almost like the movie The Hunt. This is a lot like that movie now that I think about it. When you get down to like what were they actually doing the whole time? What was that guy doing on the plane on the train pretending to be an immigrant? You know, what was his plan? It's a lot like that. And then you get to the last one at the end, it's like, this one kind of thought it through. He's the only one that's any good. The other ones all kind of like dorks. But yes, he just like runs away. And then he bumps into Reagan, who, what's his deal? Can I describe him?
He's like a Texas oil man. He's got a mustache and a big hunting knife, and he's got his 10-gallon hat. I don't remember if he actually had a 10-gallon hat.
He's from the South, and he's got a knife. That's it. That's the whole personality.
He didn't read the thing. He didn't do the homework. I would say he skews Louisiana. It's hard to tell, but that accent is something. It's a weird one.
Can I just say, so later on, when Liam Hemsworth hears from Carter that there's a file on him that some of them read, he, like, calls up Christoph Waltz and is like, you gave him a file on me? This is ridiculous. How could you? And it's like, did you think he was going to not tell them anything about you? Did you think that their thing was just, there's a dude somewhere in Detroit that you have to kill. Good luck.
Yeah, his phone's going off sometimes.
Like, what did he think they heard?
And, like, what was he's not even religious in the movie, so the whole deduction that what's-his-name goes through, like, maybe he is, but he's not, like, that religious, so when he's like, oh, of course I deducted that because you wanted to be safe and you were around a church, you would go into a church and a confessional, like, fucking no! You could set something up earlier in the movie and have that guy exploit it later because he read the file, but then we would also have to have whatever information he has and like, oh, he was walking into a... But no, we don't even know that. It's just a random place that he shows up in. Do you think if he had the file, he'd know to go to places? Like, if he knew the file was an option, he would change his behavior?
Well, after he knows the file is the thing, he doesn't change his behavior, so no.
That's true. Okay.
He continues to exclusively go to places that he specifically as a person would go.
Yeah.
Another quick note. So
Quino?
Yes.
You gotta give Quinos.
Rip in peace, Quinos.
Oh, yeah. When Reagan gets dodged, the way he does it is like he grabs him real quick and then puts a big hunting knife like to his side. And they want it to be like a small gun.
Yeah.
In like the thing of a jacket, but it's a big ass hunting knife. And how does no one see it?
And he's on an escalator.
No, it's like, sir, excuse me, are you okay right now?
And I don't think movies. I mean, movies. You kind of give him an exemption for this, but like he's fucking Liam Hemsworth. He's very handsome. People would be looking at him from far away. It's kind of like when Chris Evans as Captain America tries to sneak into the Smithsonian, go to his own exhibit. It's like, no, every single person in that room is going to be looking at this model. And, oh, wait, he looks a lot like Captain America. That must be him. I think that would happen here, too, with that guy. Also, I think the Texas Oil Man would stick out like a sore thumb. Like, it's not like any of these guys dress up like a normal Detroiter. They either dress up like a sim, like a character who has a job, and they're like dress up Barbie, or they dress like I assume they dress in real life, which is in their fancy suit. But like none of them are in a t-shirt and jeans.
Kennedy has a disguise.
Right, yeah, she's a sim. Her and
I see what you're saying. And
her
Carter.
and Carter are like you know, what is this character's whole deal? He's a priest. How do you know he's wearing a priest costume? You know? But, like, none of them are just, like, none of them are casual, except for, I guess, the LBJ. His plan is to blend right in with the fucking lunch pail.
He's like blue-collar, man.
Who wrote this movie? All right. So we got to talk about... So, while this is all going on, first of all, real quick, Christoph Waltz has a guy who I assume is a human being who can, at any point, change his appearance to match a situation,
like a chameleon, kind of.
Yeah, or just like me and you. He can wear whatever shirt he wants.
I see.
And whatever glasses he wants. But for whatever reason, this guy dresses like a pedophile in a cartoon. Yes, the most conspicuous. I would never believe he's not one of the hunters. And does he just dress like that guy that ate people? Because the movie wants to trick us into thinking he's one of the guys?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, he's like secretly the sixth hunter
that
wasn't told about. And then at the end, he'd be like, you weren't told all the rules of the hunt. Die.
Right.
Because you didn't ask any questions at any point, ever. It's really fucking stupid when you think about it.
Yeah. So that guy's weird, and he calls Christoph Waltz every single time anything interesting happens. He's like, something a little... And he's not even like... That's the other thing. So the huntsmen, the huntspeople, I guess, are not either so zany that they're cartoon characters, like from like Man in the Iron Fist or something, and they're not so boring that they're like, the Adventure Brothers or like Office Space. But also this guy is... like, has the personality that one of the hunters should have in terms of the way he speaks and acts. I feel like this character should be like the guys in Cabin in the Woods that are betting on what the mermaid's going to eat. You know, like, that's what this guy should be. This should be Tuesday to him. But instead, he's, like, acting like a serial killer the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is, man. It's like, because he even has the coat and, like, everything. It's like, I'm doing something clandestine. Like... don't give the game away, bro.
And Christoph Waltz is kind of like, all right, come on, we got hunt to do. And he's like, it takes time, sir. I have to burn everyone's fingerprints off.
My job relies on precision. You cannot rush me. I'm not trying to rush you. I'm telling you to hurry up.
He was acting in the movie that we all wanted to see. No one else was, but he was. So my three favorite characters in this movie are Christoph Waltz, obviously, great. The Nixon, just because he's the one we get to spend most time with, and I think his resolution is insane. And I think his pickaxe thingy is very fun. And then this guy, the weird pedophile guy, because he doesn't fit.
What was his name? I don't even remember what his name was.
Jared, probably.
It was like
no.
It was like Cornell or something.
Why didn't... So, like, in Kingsman, they all have names of Knights of the Round Table, but then there's Merlin. Why didn't he have some, I don't know, other non-presidential name? But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like a facilitator. Like, what's his name? That king... what's his name? Kissinger or something.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know. But,
I still want to know why they skipped Gerald Ford, the only president from the state of Michigan.
Well, maybe these guys all have names. Like, they all get their names, right? So maybe we're supposed to assume that Gerald Ford died in the last hunt. Because they all know each other, and they're like, hey, Reagan, what's up? I remember you from a couple days ago, or whatever, 15 years, how long it takes. Okay, but I want to talk about the weirdest part of this movie, which isn't even the twist. Because the twist is crazy, but it's also kind of predictable. And the weirdest part of this movie we haven't really discussed. Do either of you guys know where I'm going with this?
There's so many things you could mean.
Yeah.
The absolute dumbest. The thing in the movie that made me go, wait a second, this is how this is going to play out, is the wife. So, the wife is at home. Liam Hemsworth, one of the Hemsworth leaves home. He makes the baby crib early in the morning, which should be a sign, but whatever. He does 1 hour of hunt, and as per tradition, gets paid $100,000 or $50,000 or something. He gets that direct deposited into his bank account with no warning, like not like secretly. She gets a pop-up ad on her computer, like, "Hey, someone deposited $100,000 into my bank account." What the fuck is that? That's the best Christoph Waltz can do. If you're not gonna send the money, don't send it. Like, that's fine too. She's not gonna know about it. He can't tell her, so there's no reason for her to see it. If you are gonna send it, of course don't do it that way. Because then it's like, within like 3 hours, she's like calling the police. "I'm pretty sure my husband's in the mafia." Like,
plus later he's like, when he's talking to the wife, he's going like, "Under normal circumstances, we would have, by this point, you would have been told that your husband had been killed by a mugging gone bad or something, and the money would have been payout from some life insurance policy he took a while ago and didn't tell you about." And I was like, they don't normally pay life insurance in increasing installments starting before he died. So, like, what the fuck were you going to explain that with?
yeah, like, I mean, it seems like, and the way we'll learn later, I think he says this in the first meeting, Christoph Waltz and Liam Hemsworth's character, like, he's like, "Usually the people we get for the hunt are gambling people and people that owe lots of money, so that's why they do it. But you have brain tumors, so it's completely different." But, like, I imagine with those people, it's just like, we're not going to fucking give them the money. They were going to get killed. But, like, with this guy, Christoph Waltz is really like, "No, we're going to give you the money." And he knows the rules of the hunt are that Liam Hemsworth can never, like, find the money. He can't go to an ATM and just get it. But he gets notifications on a cell phone that he's handed that it's like, "Oh, well, $100,000 went into your account." Do you guys ever remember in the early internet days, speaking of early internet, where someone would, go, like, you'd be at school, maybe like high school maybe, or a little before, like, I'm a little older than you guys. So you guys would have been, like, earlier in high school. Someone would edit like, open up the source code of a website, and just, like, edit the source code of, like, Yahoo's homepage, so that it would read, like, you know, "Aliens land." And then they would show it to you and be like, "Dude, aliens landed." And you'd be like, "Whoa!" And then you'd be like, "Just kidding." And it's like, why does he believe this fucking phone? It's not a real phone. Why isn't it a different account that it, like, at the end they deposit it? Why is he doing it in increments? She's like 2 hours away from going to the, like, Federal Reserve with this, being like, "Hey, cybercrime, pretty sure something's up." That's not what you want if you're anybody in this situation.
Also, it's interesting that the phone also has the ability to call Christoph Waltz, which is like, why do you give the prey that option?
And
like,
why is he not constantly on the phone with him? Like, at a certain point,
right?
you should be like, "Okay, real quick, just want to give me a rundown of everything in the dossier, just so I can know, you know? Because would you have told me? If you would have told me, then tell me now." Like, he only calls him for threats. It's so weird. Also, and this part really fucking got me. So the phone, right? Let's talk about the phone, because that's also on this list. But just kind of to finish off the money thing. The money thing is insane. The wife is, I mean, I totally understand what she's doing. From her perspective, she's the only character that's acting in, like, a logical way. Is just like, I mean, I figure I'd give it a day before the IRS showed up at my house. But it's just like to see if it goes away. So this must be a mistake or something. But yeah, it's just really confusing, and she has no information. The phone. So the phone does 5 things. First thing it does, it tells Chris Hemsworth that he has money, which is dumb, but it does that. Second thing it does, tracks Chris Hemsworth's location, which is important for like the every 15 or every hour for 15 seconds he has to get the location sent out.
And they track him to see like where he is and where he's going, and so like pedophile man could follow him in case anything happens. So there's like interception. And
in case he accidentally gets in someone's truck and they go.
God, can we? Oh, my
anyway, hold on.
God.
A couple other things. So other things it's going to do that I think are pretty like. So it also, like we were saying, can call the guy. It can call what's his name, the villain. Trying to think of the thing I forgot. I feel like there's one thing I forget, but also when so let's say you're the guy, like you're Liam Hemsworth, and you're in a restaurant with 20 people, right? You can you'll be in the restaurant. Maybe they don't know who you are. Maybe they don't have a dossier. Who knows? And you're just sitting and minding your business. You have a hat on, so you're completely disguised. And the thing will ring, and not only will they be told where you are, but your phone makes a ding. Like, it goes bing, bing. So then they know, oh, it's him. He doesn't fucking wrap the phone in anything to muffle that. It's the only way anyone within 10 feet of you knows. And he's just like, well, I mean, the rules are rules. Like, he never tries to, like, do anything kind of, like, clever. He doesn't even know if he can kill these people. He never gets that information.
Yeah, he never asks.
Yeah. When he finds, like, and he doesn't know how many rules he can break, or, like, laws. Because he does commit a murder, at least one, a couple others, but those are, like, kind of accidental murders.
He's told that if he gets arrested, then he's broken the rules and they're going to kill him.
Right.
So he knows he can't get arrested.
But he also knows, but he doesn't know that when the third guy, whose name I keep forgetting, is killed, that the pedophile will show up and scrub his body and, like, throw him in the river and whatever. So he could kill that guy if he wants. It's pretty good. Like, you should try to do that if you're in that situation, because there's no, like, the disincentive for that in the real world. It's like, oh, you'll get arrested. But in this case, it's like, no, you'll be fine.
Interesting, by the way. I don't know if so. The rules are he can never like abandon the phone. Like, the phone has to be on him all times. But why not take a page out of Terminator, whatever the most recent one was, and put the phone in like a potato chip bag so they can't track him? Because I do not believe that was against the rules.
That would be a violation, probably. He'd probably be like, I mean, he'd never think that far ahead. He would never think like...
Yeah. The problem with that plan, DJ, is that it's clever.
Yeah. Like, what's a place? We go to fucking DMV. Like, there's so many places where it's just lots of people and boring, and you just sit there the whole day and no one would know.
So it does get tricky past, like,
Yes.
like 8 o'clock. Like, that's where you gotta start being, like, a bit clever with your hiding spots. That's where I think you just call your friend who owns a bar and says, shove me in where you keep the kegs. And, like Diggins said, we'll be fucking rich by, the next day.
Well, and I also think, like, I think one of the things, if I were Liam Hemsworth, that I would want to do pretty quickly is just, like, figure out who all the guys are. And you go somewhere where you cannot be caught. Like, you just, like, go to the DMV and just watch the door and see who comes in and out and be like, okay, that guy in the fancy suit is definitely one of the guys, so I gotta watch out for him. But, like, he never, even looks... He has no curiosity about any of these people, so I guess why would that happen? So we got the pedophile, we got most of the rules. We talked about 1 and 2. Let's talk about 3 real quick. So Carter is some sort of like, it's an educated guy who will use his wits to find you and then do costume change and turn into a priest and do a whole big confession for fun.
Big fake confession.
Did you guys know the whole time that it was him, probably? Right?
I thought it might be, but I was like, this is going on a long time for him to be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a hard time figuring out, like, that was the point in the movie where I was like, this movie's going one of 2 ways. Either it's a cartoon, and this is the guy, or it's not. And this is where I think it really takes a turn into cartoon.
And then immediately takes that turn back because he's like, here is my backstory and exactly how I came to be here. And it's like, I don't want this.
And his superpower is he has a hammer, of his dad's famous hammer that he used for all the murders. That character will eventually, like, Liam Hemsworth manages to get the hammer from him, and he like takes it with him, but he doesn't care. It's kind of funny. He's like, wait, no, give it back. And he's like, oh, no, I want it.
Also, Dodge makes a horrible decision in this fucking scene.
What decision is that?
Where he's standing right next to Carter. So he gets Carter behind a gate, and, you know, he's sitting right next to him between this gate while he has the hammer. And Carter just, like, takes the back part of the hammer and just, like, takes a chunk out of Dodge's leg.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Oh, my God.
So it was stupid of Dodge to stand near him, but it was also stupid of Carter to do that when he is locked in the, like, little vestibule that Carter himself broke the lock on using the hammer. So if he just kept the fucking hammer, he could have gotten out.
I love too because he gets trapped in the vestibule, as you're saying, and then the pedophile comes up to him and he's like, "Hello, Carter, you've gotten caught." And Carter's like, "Yes, so let me out, please." And he's like, "I can't do that. Here's what's gonna happen instead. In a couple of hours, the real priest's gonna show up, and you're gonna say that you're a visiting priest
from Nigeria.
And you're gonna be like, quick, I got robbed." Like, what the? That's it. Like, you're not even a guy. Like, what do you? You're a visiting priest who showed up at the church in your own robes, or our robes, I guess, which are missing now, and everything's broken, and you got locked in the vestibule. I feel like we'll call the police still. Then we're just gonna, you know what? You're busy. Even if we don't, like, what did that guy do next? Like, I assume all of these guys just don't care about regular people. So if any, like, they were like, "Oh God, thank you. What happened?" And he's like, "Just kidding," and he kicked all the guys in the, like, everybody in the church and ran at full speed away. So then Dodge goes and he finally does something that's like a little bit half clever, which is what?
What does he do that's a little bit half clever?
Well, this is when he goes to the stadium, right?
Yes. This is the first time anything that even kind of remotely resembles strategy happens. But again, it involves him breaking another law. And I don't think, if I'm Dodge, I feel like it's not super hard to get into the stadium, you know? Like, everyone's leaving, and you just sneak in and be like, "Oh, crap, I forgot my phone. Sorry, I'm going to go in." But instead, he, like, decides to filter out with these people. So, like, what's the plan?
So he shows up at the stadium, shoplifts, like, a jersey and a Red Wings jersey and hat.
Yep.
And then, like, times it so that right when his location is being given up, the Red Wings game is letting out. So he just, like, joins the throng of fans leaving the stadium while wearing the paraphernalia so that it's impossible to find him in the crowd.
Now, do you gentlemen remember the cliffhanger part of this scene?
Is it that the guy runs out of his car and it's like, "Haha, I got you, Dodge."
So he's listening to the game on the radio, and the Red Wings are only down by 1, and they're trying to like, get back, right? And Dodge is listening intently because if the Red Wings score, it goes into overtime, and then his plan is ruined because the stadium would not exit.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was the weird cliffhanger. Because he's, like, cheering for the Islanders. The guy's like, "You from New York? We don't like you if you're from New York."
That's us.
Also, gotta say, not exactly untrue to life, but every vendor in this movie hates homeless people.
Yeah.
Just hates them. Like, viscerally.
Like, it's so funny that the other thing that he never does that kills me, and I watched, it was this, and maybe it was the Old Guard movie on Netflix, where characters are just running around dirty the whole movie, but they have time to not be dirty. And it's like, dude, go into a bathroom and wash your face. That's the only thing that's stopping people from handing you things and expecting you to hand them the money next. is that you look like a homeless person, or just a poor person or somebody. But if you look like you normally with a scratch, you could buy things from people and then run. That's fine. I don't understand why he doesn't do that, because 24 hours passes in this movie, like the long length of time.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. I guess most of the time spent in the movie, he is rigging up the exploding plant.
I don't know if that was ever part of his plan until the very end.
Yeah, but then, so he gets on the boat at sundown, right?
Yeah.
It's after sundown.
Yeah, a little past. It's
After,
like nighttime.
Okay. So then what does he do for the night?
I think that's when he's being driven in the car.
But for what, 20 minutes? How long does it take to get from city center of Detroit to outside of Detroit?
Yeah, if there's a lot of traffic getting out of the parking lot.
Well, as we've established, there are never any cars in Detroit in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Did-
Let's talk about the boat real quick.
Okay.
Diggins, what's the story with the boat?
So he sees a boat giving a tour, just around the lake. And he's like, perfect. I can hide out on this boat for 40 minutes because they can't come on a boat, obviously, while it's, going around. So in the most conspicuous fashion possible, pretends that he's stealing a soda and then actually steals a ticket for the boat.
Which was just laying on the counter? Like, what the fuck? Is that how that works?
And also, the ticket taker, not 10 feet away, isn't going to be like, dude, I just saw you, reaching over and, stealing something from there. Of course I'm not going to take this ticket. You think I'm fucking stupid?
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently he is. But, then he gets on the boat and he's like, good, I am safe from all the people. And look, there's a buffet. I can get a drink of water and some food.
Well, where does he find out about the buffet?
Well, an employee of the boat tells him.
That's convenient.
I mean, is it? That's what employees of boats do, I imagine.
I guess that's true. And she does seem to be an employee because she's dressed like one. And
yes, she's just, as you said, like a sim.
Under what circumstances would she possibly be
could
waiting on the boat?
Yeah, how could anyone possibly have known he was going to get on this
Oh my
boat?
God.
That is, for a separate reason later revealed to also have been a terrible plan.
Yes!
So why would he ever have done it?
And also, where was the rest of the boat staff? Did she make the buffet herself as a trap?
That's true.
No, it's a boat. It's not this one isn't the entire stadium. It's probably 10 people that work food on this cruise thingy. Where are they?
And also,
She
none
kill
of
them
them,
all?
when they see her, are like, where did you come from?
Yeah, I think they're
never
all
seen
stuffed
you
in a
before.
closet somewhere.
Well, is it possible that she's a Detroit local? She does the hunt from time to time, but this is actually her day-to-day job.
Her day-to-day job that gets her enough money that she can pay to be part of the human hunt.
Maybe she has credits because she was a hunter. Maybe she got hunted. And
Yes.
now she's like, you know what? I think I want to do the other thing. I want to be on the other side of this window.
And she wants a real salt of the earth job to really know
Yeah.
what it feels like, right? Yeah, this is right.
So then there's a fight between these two that's fun. At this point, he's kind of, I don't even know if he's expecting gimmicks, but her gimmick is just she does martial arts at him.
She does good kicks.
Yeah.
Except they're not particularly good kicks, and this fight
No.
scene is really bad.
It's awful, and she gets beat pretty, not beat, but it's I don't, if I'm this one, and she also, this fight starts kind of almost in a fun way involving the environment, where skewers for the shish kebab that was going to be served on this thing become part of the fight, if I remember correctly.
You do.
Yeah, and then there's all kinds of that, and then we remember how this fight ends.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh yeah, I do now.
Let's hear it.
So they're on the top of the boat, which is now mysteriously empty. No one sees them having their big fight out in the open on this boat.
Yep. It's a sightseeing boat. Why would anyone be on the outside of it? It's an inside boat cruise where everyone watches a video or something. I don't know. They're all having fun at the buffet that's a mess. Everyone's trying to figure out what happened to the buffet.
Anyway, so she's like, aha, you stupid fool. This boat goes to Canada, which is not in Detroit, and therefore once we cross that bridge, you're gonna be in violation and you'll be hunted forever. Which is what I alluded to earlier, a reason why you shouldn't expect him to be on this boat, because it'd be an incredibly stupid idea, especially considering he explicitly looked at the brochure for what the boat tour is before he went on it. So he knows it goes to Canada.
Yeah.
Why did she tell him? Right?
Because the movie is almost over. Because he's about to lose the movie, but we still haven't even met the fifth guy, so yeah.
So I know what you're all thinking. Like, okay, so he's just been told that if he stays on this boat, which is a boat, then he's gonna, be hunted for the rest of his life. So he has to quickly get off this boat. So what is the obvious and easiest way to do that? Well, of course, it is to climb to the top of the boat and then hang on to the concrete pillars of the bridge that you are passing under.
Yeah.
With your superhuman strength, I guess.
And they really fuck it. That's the thing about Detroit boat cruises. They really thread the needle when it comes to just getting under the bridge. How much of a boat can we put in? Well, we got 25 feet of clearance. So like 24 and a half feet boat? I don't know. That seems like we're cutting it pretty close. What about the tide? Well, whatever we're going to do,
And especially because you can see the boat going away in, like, the next part, because she also decides to cling to the underside of this bridge for some fucking reason.
They go to an American Ninja Warrior at the bridge.
And you can see the boat, like, going away while they're, like, hanging on to the underside of this bridge like idiots. And you can clearly tell the boat is not tall enough for them to have done this.
And, like, I've never been on a sightseeing tour of whatever, Lake Michigan. I assume the bridge we go under is probably part of the tour. Like, there's probably part of the tour is like, this is the bridge. It was built by this guy. You figure people would be watching the bridge from the boat after they pass it and before. And then after, you'd be like, I don't remember those two guys from before. I guess they must not be from the bridge. Maybe they're from the boat. Also, then there's a fight. It's my favorite fight. That happens. I mean, it's not a fight, but it's my favorite little kind of action beat where they both realize that they're both hanging onto this fucking bridge.
They both realize they just engaged in the dumbest possible escape from this boat.
And she's like, well, here comes my moment where I'm going to use my martial arts and acrobatic skills to get you. And she starts kind of climbing a little bit, like she's inching closer to him. And he just does a big swing, kicks her square in the chest, breaks her sternum for sure. And she fucking falls all the way down into the water. She pretty much jumps off a bridge. I'm not an expert on jumping off of bridges, but if I remember correctly, that's that thing from like the Aesop's Fable or like metaphors that you're not supposed to do, right? Like it's dangerous to do. Unless you were some sort of superhuman like her, because she's fine. This doesn't even faze her. Do you guys remember how Liam Hemsworth gets off the bridge?
No.
Somehow, we do not see how.
No.
And I, in my mind's eye, cannot see how. But somehow, he climbs from the center of the bridge on the bottom all the way around over the lip onto the top of the bridge.
Yeah, it's just hanging from the bridge, knocks her off the bridge, she falls down into the water. Hard cut to walks off of the bridge. Like, almost like clapping hands together, like, well, what a fun bridge adventure that was. If only these were more than 10 minutes long, we'd be able to see it. Like, his guy is beaten to death by this point. Like, his whole thing is he keeps getting stabbed and stuff and whatever. And he's still, like, this is the hardest physical thing to do.
And he didn't eat. We didn't even talk about how Christoph Waltz buys him breakfast. He's like, I'm good.
Do you think that was like poison, though, or something? At this point, I'm like, yeah, it was breath poison in him.
I don't think so, because Christoph Waltz, like, the movie builds up like, oh, this organization is sinister and is going to betray him and whatever. But actually, it seems like they were totally square with him the whole time and were never going to betray him.
I mean, kind of. The whole thing was a betrayal, because...
Okay, they like, tricked him into doing it, but, like, once he agreed to do it, like, everything from that point forward was totally above board.
Right, I
no
guess
tricks, no lies, nothing.
It seems like I think there's a version of this movie where someone who's kind of clever does this. And I don't know what, like, the law is in Detroit with murder, but I figure it's still one of those places where you can't do it that often. But, like, let's say Chris Hemsworth, or Liam Hemsworth, leaves the diner and really quickly, like, grabs a knife. And just everybody that leaves the diner after him, he, like, hides behind the door, just stabs them real quick and throws them onto the street. And does this 5 times. They're all dead. He runs away. Then what? 5 of the richest people on Earth all got stabbed in Detroit today. Like, they wouldn't... The guy would clean them up. So then he could just go. Like, he wouldn't go to jail for anything. So if you kill all 5 guys real quick, the hunt is over. You get $21 million or $23 million for nothing.
Well, for 5 murders.
Yeah, for 5 murders. But, like, you know, they were all bad. Except for the English guy who was cool the whole time. Then this leaves Chris Hemsworth, or Liam Hemsworth, at the last, like, big location. The last, not like set piece, but tour of Detroit, which is the projects.
But can I just say, there's a brief scene right before that where he, like, goes to some park that he used to go to as a kid, and his old friend finds him and everything. Blah, blah, blah. It's not that interesting. However, there was a moment in that scene where the movie could have, like, won me 100%.
What was it?
Oh, really?
So he goes to this little park area where he used to go as a kid. He's, like, beaten down. This is supposed to be, like, his low point. He's, like, drinking water out of, like, a ditch in this park. And a dog is drinking across from him, and they, like, look up and have a moment before the dog runs off. And the movie could have 100% won me back if, like, after they had the moment of looking at each other, the dog went, "Enjoying your drink, Mr. Tynes?" And the dog was the 5th hunter.
Oh my God, yeah. Or if the dog could have, at least, if even a slightly more realistic one, the dog could have helped. You know, they could have gotten a fight with somebody in the park, and then the dog does the last murder. That would have been handy.
No, I need the dog to have been the 5th hunter.
It's fair.
Which, you think they've kept the identity of the 5th hunter secret this whole movie, so it must be a super cool reveal, right?
Yep, it is. It's as cool as they come.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I also have a question.
One of many reveals in this movie that also does not trust you to remember anything that happened in the entire movie.
Yeah. And it's Quibi, so it's not like we're, you know, all on our phone and we can just go back. You know, it's not like you watch this in a theater and everybody's whispering to each other. Just go back and check. It's the same guy from the bus. Anyway. One other funny thing about that scene is, so Liam Hemsworth, Dodge, is going to go and meet his friends, the one that can't act, the one from Spider-Man. And he's going to be like, "Hey, the friend's like, hey, we're looking for you. First of all, you're a multimillionaire now, and the FBI is all on your case," because of course they would be. And also, you're, like, presumed dead. There's all kinds of stuff happening. And Liam Hemsworth is like, listen, I can't tell you what's happening, but people are hunting me. Like, people are trying to kill me, and I'm getting all this money. And I'm like, yeah, you can't tell them. Like, you can't be like, I'm in some sort of hunt scenario. But, like, we put 2 and 2 together, you know? You know, your wife knows this, at least. She's got to have put it together by now. If you went to your wife and were like, "Hey, honey, people are trying to murder me for a reason. Also, I'm sure you saw the millions of dollars we have now. We should go somewhere for at least the next 8.5 hours." Like, it seems like the rule specifically is he cannot say, "I am doing a most dangerous game." But besides that, it's like you can say pretty much whatever you want.
Isn't it also weird that you get money during the hunt? Like,
it's so stupid.
Can you use that money to, like, not have to worry about it anymore?
That would be great. Yeah, you'd invest real quick in, like, a private security firm. I don't know if there's, like, an Uber Eats for private security, but, like, some sort of, like, just like a fleet of Uber drivers. And you just get in one of them and have the rest follow that one, and you do that for a whole day, and you're fine. But okay, so 5th guy, so he ends up in the projects, and then what happens?
It's so dumb. He gets knocked out by this guy, and he's like, "Hey," so he wakes up in a house, and he's like, "Only 2 kinds of white people show up here, cops and dealers. You ain't a cop, and you ain't, and I guess that makes you a dealer, because you have these pills on you. Also, they're aspirin. Isn't that weird? Also, we found this phone that has all the money in your bank account. Give it to us."
And then he's like, guys, I can't tell you why, but people are going to come murder me for that money. And I feel like even if it wasn't the hunt scenario, they should probably be like, oh, members of your gang?
I don't know why the guy, why Liam Hemsworth didn't play more into it. He's like, you got me. I'm worth a lot of money, but only alive. If you want to see a sense of what's in that account, I'm going to have to stay alive.
Right? He could have bought a whole bunch of guys at that moment for like private security firm.
He could have just been, he could have just been like literally like, I will pay you each $1 million if you make sure I live for the next 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I hate him. He's so bad at this. But then this is I can't remember this. This is the one bit that like it's been a couple days since I saw it. So then 2 assassins are gonna show up here. Reagan is like the one climbing the wall, which I can't get over. Which means any gangster, like any rival gang member, could have done that. It would have worked. Because no one stops him. And he doesn't have a gun. And then the 5th guy, LBJ, who's the one from the bus, comes in with like a weird gun, a giant gun, and kills all these guys. Now, what? How? There's like a justification for how guns factor into stuff now. I cannot remember what it is. What's the story?
They can't use gun to kill prey. They can use gun to kill everyone else, especially if they're minorities, because this movie's a nightmare.
But like, so if he had killed the main guy, what would have happened then?
He would have gotten an official oopsie award for doing a bad kill.
Right? Would he have become part of the hunt, and then the other guys would have gotten to get him? Like,
Honestly, Nixon probably would have killed him. He's probably the guy who's keeping everyone in fucking line.
I mean, the pedophile probably would have gotten him.
But that too, yeah.
But yeah,
But
like,
he's very much not careful to not kill Liam Hemsworth with the gun. He is spraying bullets everywhere, including into the room that only Liam Hemsworth is in.
yes! And also, like, and I just think this is so dumb. This is a stash house for drugs. This is like a gang or something. They all are like tough customers. I would assume they're not prepared for the hunt specifically, but I assume they're prepared for assault with guns because that's the whole thing of gang warfare. So like, why is it so special? Why is their entire operation brought down by one guy with a gun? It's not this isn't a book club where it's like, well, we wouldn't expect guys with guns, so this is gonna be, or it's not even like a monastery. It's the place where if you're a guy with a gun, it should be kind of tricky to get in. But this guy's like, the gang members are like, oh my god, our one weakness. Who could have expected someone would show up with a gun and try to shoot us? We thought we invented that as ourselves, and we never would have even, but no, it's a huge shock to him. It's so stupid. But also, in that point, I'm pretty sure Reagan dies, but he doesn't. And I love it. I love how, like, car man, whatever the fuck his name is, it's not Ford, but it's the one that should be Ford, Mustang,
Dodge?
Colt, Dodge, there you go. I love how Dodge goes into the bathroom, and he's like, I guess I have to get out here from the window, and then Reagan is climbing the wall. It's such a silly image, and I think that would, for me, be the moment where it's like, man, this is weird. This is weirder than I thought it would be. And one guy has, like, a hidden blade. So then we're getting to the third act. The movie kind of ends. But now, wait a second, you guys. I thought he was taking pills for his cancer treatment.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I mean,
wait, what does that mean, then?
Clearly it means that they gave him the wrong prescription and he should go check with the hospital to make sure that he's getting the right pills because, he really can't mess around with his health like this.
Yeah.
That'd be irresponsible.
And then he does that. And now I'm like, okay, he went into the fucking hospital and he was allowed to be there. You could sit in the emergency room, like, waiting area for as long as you want. They don't kick you out.
Oh, that's
and
a good one,
you pretty
actually.
much can't murder anybody in there. And he's like, all right, see ya. Goodbye. I gotta go run around the city like a dumbass.
He's also beat up really badly.
Right? You're like, I'm pretty sure that you can't go to jail, but you can go to the emergency room. Probably. I mean, you don't have insurance, but you're going to be a multimillionaire, so that'll probably cover some of your healthcare costs.
Yeah, maybe like 6 $25 million will probably cover, like, 80% of his medical costs.
He'll get some aspirins and whatever. Depends. I don't know what the Detroit healthcare market's like these days. But no. So what does he say? How do we get this reveal? Because this reveal is not only insane, but it's telegraphed from a mile away. But also, it blows the level of incompetence from Christoph Waltz's perspective into fucking space. Like, the fact that he was able to do this and not do this next part is insane. But anyway, so what happens next?
So it's revealed that he never had a brain tumor at all, and it was all faked by Christoph Waltz to get him to agree to the hunt. Now, I know what you're thinking, dear listener. Oh, so he paid off the doctors to, like, give him a fake diagnosis, right? No. That would be the smart way to do it. What he instead did was hire fake cops to tail him at all hours of the day, so that whenever they drugged him somehow so he would pass out, so that when that happened, they would take him to the hospital, to the actual physical hospital, but in a abandoned wing under construction, so that the fake doctors that they hired, or like actors playing doctors, would give him a fake diagnosis in a not real part of the real actual hospital, cleverly making it so there is no record of his visit or anything that would be able he would later be able to verify it in case this exact situation came up. And also trusting that he just wouldn't notice when he is being escorted out of the hospital that literally the entire wing they have him in is abandoned.
And not just his wife would have to go from outside the hospital to inside the fake hospital. How many... I guess you're room 1. Wow, right out the front door. Lucky us. There's usually a buzzing staff. A hospital, more than anywhere else, next to maybe like a school, is a place where I just expect to see people coming and going. You know? It would be so weird if you walked into an empty hospital. And then, but you guys, like, so we haven't kind of talked about this. The diagnosis itself under these circumstances is insane. He goes to the, well, DJ, can you explain this? The actual, like, time he is diagnosed.
So he's in, like, the hospital bed, and the doctor comes by and is like, hey, you have this giant, like, whatever on your brain, and because of where it is, it's inoperable, and you have, a couple weeks to live. And the wife's like, get out of here! And, the husband's just, like, distraught, and they're all sad. And the one nurse is like, he's the best surgeon at Sloan Kettering. Yeah. We're lucky to have him visiting.
Yeah.
And also, that's her response to the wife being like, no, that can't be true. She's like, we're really fucking smart, so listen to us, bitch.
Well, and not that can't be true. That can't be true. He's exercises all the time. Like, I know. Like, come on. That's not exactly it. But also, yeah, it's like, he's got a brain tumor, and here's a picture. What was happening before? Did they have a whole staff of orderlies and like just other hospital workers that were tending to him? Did he wake up and his wife was there, and there was like an empty room? Like, it's almost like it's almost like there's an episode of Arrested Development where at one point they make a joke where the characters are like in the model home, and someone opens up a cabinet that is empty except for one glass, pulls out that glass because that's what they open the cabinet for, and then closes the glass. And it's like, man, those set dressers on that show you're working on are lazy. Like, how many things did they get? How many actors did they have to do to fill this hospital up to make it seem like a real thing? Like, honestly, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happens when you get a diagnosis like this. I figure it's more than just one x-ray. But, like, how much money can it possibly cost to pay off the x-ray technician or to hack the x-ray machine? That's got to be the easiest way to do it, right?
Yeah, just pay off a couple of the doctors.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, just give him this fake diagnosis. Like, we'll tell him it's fake in like a day. So like, he's not gonna spend the next few weeks worrying about it if you're really that concerned about the ethical implications. But
as a doctor who's taking money from strangers.
Yeah.
And again, that way there's a paper trail. You can even make it so that they have some plausible excuse where it's like, oh, you know what? There was a smudge on the machine that made it look like there was a tumor. We're sorry to make you worry, sir, but it was our bad. You're totally fine. Like, there are ways to do this that don't make it obvious you did a big secret cover-up.
I mean, it really is insane that it's like, the part that obviously is the dumbest is it's the unused wing. Is that how they scout out future cities for future hunts? They're building a new wing in the hospital. Perfect! We have to find a guy, and then we'll stalk him. And, okay, so then they drug him. Also, we learned that, and as part of Christoph Waltz's otherwise, or not Christoph Waltz's, but as part of the otherwise truthful reveal segment, Christoph Waltz throws in that the friend was part of it. And the friend, who is mad that he wasted his 50 grand, was drugging him so that he would pass out, so that it would appear that Liam Hemsworth had something going on that would send him to the hospital.
Question.
Later,
was he, though?
Right. Later in the movie, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought they tricked me into thinking you were part of it. And at that point in the movie, even though we don't know that, like, or even though, like, it's not completely, we're also following the wife who's hanging out with the friend, the Spider-Man, do a flip guy. And Liam Hemsworth is like, wife, we gotta watch out. Don't stay away from him. Get away from him, right? And, like, what did happen then? I don't get it. That's the only part that doesn't track with all of Christoph Waltz's bullshit honesty stuff.
It's so unclear whether or not the friend deceived him or not.
I mean, if we're going by the pure text of the movie, which this movie does not seem cleverly written enough that we should go by anything else, he didn't. Which also means, in the factory, his normal-ass friend, who lives a normal-ass life and is just a regular person, sees a indistinct shape vaguely like moving in the shadows behind him in this old factory, and straight murks a person.
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation, guns a person down.
Well, and also we learned, like, that then that puts back into context how his friend just randomly found him on the street earlier in the movie. But then you're like, wait, but then what was he doing then? Was he part of the thing? Because that's crazy if the thing was like, hey, by the way, go get your friend real quick. He's doing too good. We gotta make this hard. Or was that like a real coincidence? And was his friend like, something's really, really weird? And I think the hardest part of dealing with this character is the acting is so poor that there's no turn. Where the guy's like, I know it seems like I'm bad, but trust me. And you're like, oh, no, he was playing the whole time. Because he's the same. He's the same the whole movie. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure within the text of the movie, he was not bad. Because he is given, like, Liam Hemsworth apologizes to him. And he's not like, yeah, buddy, actually, I did do it, but here's why. It's just like, I know, I didn't betray you. Isn't that great of me? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It really feels like different people wrote different episodes of the show, and they didn't coordinate some things, and that's one of them that I don't think they quite understood. I think it's that. I think it's some of the rules, and it's what Nixon will and won't do to kill someone in any given moment.
Well, I think the problem is they wanted everything to be like, they wanted every episode to end on a twist. They wanted everything to be like, oh, what's going to happen? But they didn't like think about it, because again, like, the reason in this kind of movie you have that reveal where it's like, oh, they were manipulating everything from the start. You know, he doesn't have the cancer. This was all a setup. The reason you have that reveal is to reveal that this organization is not trustworthy. They're going to betray you. You've got to do something about it.
Right. And what does he say when he learns this information, DJ or Diggins?
DJ can take it.
DJ
God,
said that
great.
DJ called this out as his most preposterous line of the movie, but then we'll get back to Diggins. But
it's bananas. So he goes. So Christoph Waltz gives him the whole spiel, and then Liam Hemsworth just goes in with, "Now you're the one who's gonna be hunted."
Bum-bum-bum.
And it's like, dude, this is so over the top and like hacky.
All right, back to Diggins. Sorry. So then, Diggins. So he's saying that,
right. So that's the reason you would do all that, and they explicitly have him say like, "Oh, I'm coming for you," but then he doesn't come for them at all. Really, he like roughs up the pedophile at one point, being like, "Where's my wife?"
Yeah.
But then he just gets his wife, and it's like, "All right, I'm cool. And Christoph Waltz apparently is not planning to betray him at all. He makes it to the end. Christoph Waltz gives him all the money, and then he leaves.
Yep.
He was totally upfront about everything after the cancer diagnosis. All the rules of the hunt, everything how he said it was going to go, was totally truthful, start to finish.
Well, except for all the parts where he's like, by the way, you said they couldn't use guns, so I get to use guns now for a whole minute. And then, he stops using guns and during the middle of a confrontation, and he throws the gun away, and he's like, by the way, the rules that Liam Hemsworth, I'm interpreted this way, say that you can't use guns anymore because I'm not using a gun, so haha. And it's like, what the fuck told you that? You're making all this shit up on the fly.
Yeah, we're just playing Calvin ball at this point.
You really are. And I'm like...
It would have been really funny to me if the movie ended with him doing that and then Nixon going, "That's not how the rules work, you fucking idiot," and then he shoots him.
Yeah, I'm the one who knows this guy. You can maybe pull this off with literally any other character in the movie, but not me. So, sorry, buddy. I'm going to kick you off this building, because that's what I always wanted to do. So then he's doing the hunt now. So he goes to... So Liam Hemsworth goes to this old abandoned factory and does a big explosion and kills most of the guys. He kills... LBJ's already dead. Right? How does LBJ die?
The gang member shoots him with his dying breath because he really wanted to make sure that that guy died.
I mean, he did suck.
Yeah. In the same scene where he is revealed, he is shot and killed. So, we held him back for no reason. He didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So he's dead. Did you think that the friend was the fifth guy? I mean, that wouldn't have made any sense, because how would he have gotten the money to participate in the hunt? But that would have been kind of fun.
I could see that.
Because then it's like...
It should have been anything remotely interesting.
Yeah.
It's who should have been the fifth hunter.
Well, and we've kind of already touched on how stupid the twist is in a practical sense, but also just fucking it sucks. I would enjoy a movie like this where it really was just yeah, we picked you. We're going to do a hunt. Here's the rules. Go, good luck. And it's because it's personal to you because you have this cancer diagnosis and your family and the city and all this shit. But it's not, this isn't a big conspiracy. I mean, it's a big conspiracy, but yeah, we didn't fake your diagnosis. This is go, do the hunt. You already have all the motivation you need. There's no revenge. We don't need any of that. And then in the future, if we want to do another one of these, which who knows, maybe, I don't know. I mean, Quibi's, there's no way they can afford it, but also you can make this movie with a fucking camcorder in someone's backyard. It's the cheapest movie to make ever because it's all just people walking around in crowds, especially if you film it vertically on a phone like a Quibi. But you could make this movie and then it's just another group of guys, and there's no, cheating and backstory and backstabbing and trickery. It's just a different, setting and a different, slightly more, compelling group of villains. Maybe we throw some ones we remember from before in. Maybe this guy Ford or Dodge comes back, but, this is a franchise unless they start doing trickery, and then it's not. But
you know who the best fifth hunter would have been, actually?
Who?
All right, so this is the scene. We're approaching the final hours. Mm-hmm. Liam Hemsworth has rescued his wife, and they're on the run trying to evade the hunters.
Oh my god!
As the final hours tick down, wife goes into labor, and he's like, "Oh no!" And he has to perform, and he has to do the birth for her because they can't get to the hospital. All the while the hunters are closing in on them. You had the whole dramatic scene of him performing the delivery, whatever. He takes out the baby after all the complications are done and everything's okay. And he's like, "Oh, shh, hello, my little son. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this." And then from the folds of his swaddling clothes, the baby pulls out a gun.
That'd be so great.
Oh my god.
Well, it wouldn't be a gun. It would have to be a little, baby spoon or something that he would use to stab him to death. The baby knows the rules. He's one of the cool guys we trust.
I mean, they pre-planned everything else. Why not that, right?
Well,
that's the only thing that would have been better than the dog.
Well, no. How about this? So the baby is born. Baby gets born, and it's the doctor gets it or whatever. Then it's all right. Now the next part, we got to do the placenta or whatever. And they pull it out. And it's what's in this? This has a dossier about you. And then the baby jumps in. And that's when the baby fight starts, because the baby would be prepared. And okay, so then so Dodge blows up most of the guys. He blows up Kennedy, who I liked because she was funny, because she didn't like what's his name. She didn't like Reagan, because this is the bit where they all meet: Kennedy, Nixon, and Reagan. British guy, a Southern guy, and the woman, the only woman,
lady,
yeah.
Can I just say, I think this we didn't really talk about this one because it's not that important, really. But later he goes back to his house for some reason.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the fucking stupidest thing he could possibly have done. Mm-hmm. And someone is waiting there for him, and he has a chase. And then the person chasing him gets in the car with him. They have a crash. And it turns out it's Carter.
Yep.
But the whole time up until that point after the crash where we see Carter's face, the person is full motorcycle gear, including a helmet. Can't see anything about them, which led me to believe the whole time. I was like, oh, this is a new hunter. Because why would they be not showing us the face of an old hunter? That doesn't make sense. And then at the end, when all three of them show up at the factory, Kennedy is on a motorcycle in the same outfit with the same helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was originally shot as a fight scene with Kennedy, and then later they decided, oh, let's make this the last fight with Carter instead.
Well,
And
how would Carter have died then? Would he have just gone home?
I don't know what the original plan was, but I think that scene was filmed to be a fight scene with Carter.
That makes way more sense. Maybe they would have socially engineered, maybe it would have gotten to the end of the movie and there would have been a post-credit scene where Carter's just sitting in I don't know, the hospital, just in a waiting room, and then a guy comes in and he's like, yes, I knew you would come here because I have used my powers of deduction and doing all of my social sciences because I knew you would feel comfortable in the house. And then it's not him, and he's like, wait, what time is it? Oh no, I thought he would come to the hospital. I guess I was wrong, which is what I must have been doing for the 23 out of 24 hours from this. I was just being wrong the whole time, and then I got right, luckily, and ended up at the church with him. Yeah, I think that makes sense, because it is weird that there's two motorcycle people. It's a good point. So there's that bit where they all meet, and they're like, Kennedy is happy to see Nixon. She's like, hey, Nixon, what's up? And then she sees Reagan, and she's like, Reagan, and Reagan's like, Kennedy, and you're like, is it racism or do they just not like each other from previous hunts? But there's also part of me that's just like, man, this is the movie. Just these hunters have this weird backstory and these fun relationships that we never see, but we just kind of infer from how they interact with each other. Was there ever a scene, now I'm thinking about it, where a hunter saved another hunter, a hunter saved the guy from another hunter because they wanted to kill him? There was this weird rule about engagement, where it was if you've engaged in a hunt, then you cannot be hunted by another hunter. But it's fucking boring. I want little champions where he's like, come help me, British one. I need you to kill the Southern one, and then you could kill me. But yeah, none of that.
Unfortunately, no.
I don't know, man. I love this movie. There's also a really weird, ugly slow motion scene where the British one runs through fire, and you're like, I guess he didn't die for later.
Yeah, I thought that was going to kill him. That didn't make sense, but...
I mean, he can take a whole big fire to the body. It's a bathroom door to the face that is, that's a one-shot knockout for him. I almost think, with the bathroom door to the face, it wasn't even that it hurt him. It felt more like he'd, would have licked his lips and be like, ooh, a real hunt today. I was hoping I would get a hunt out of this man. And he was really in it for the fun of it. I don't quite understand what everyone else got out of this. It seems like it seems like Carter would have gotten just as much fun out of tag if it was hide and seek or something, and it was oh, I found you. I told you I could do it because I looked at your file. Goodbye. I'm sure it's cheaper to put that together. And then I don't know what the one with the lunch pail would actually want from this. It really seems like Nixon wants to kill, but also he's really in it for the love of the game. Reagan wants to stab a person, which I don't think the hunt really matters to him. He seems like he's there because that's the best way to do it, but it also seems like just go stab people. I don't know. And then
I feel like if he's super rich, it's probably be cheaper for him to hire his own guys who are good at cleaning up murders than to pay to take part in this blood sport.
Yes. And then the weirdest one is I feel like Kennedy has to be like, I'm gonna fucking make this work. I'm putting on the outfit. I'm getting on a boat. I promise. I've done all the research. This is where they will show up. And she really just wants to like prove this ridiculous point. And she'd kill him because it would be fun. So I feel like Kennedy and Nixon were the only two that were really in it for the hunt. So it's fun, I guess. I don't know. It's great.
Maybe the hunt has some kind of meritocracy aspect to it where, like, if you win a hunt, you get to be, like, CEO of some kind of tech firm or something like that. Or you get to be, like, chairman of the board on some shit.
That makes sense. Or just, like, all the rich people go to parties and, like, so you won the hunt, huh? Yeah, no, I respect you now, you dork. And now it's like, shit, you are a dork, but I still have to bow to you in our Eyes Wide Shut sex party. But also... I could see it just being a thing where it's like you win the hunt because you want to go to fabulous Detroit and have a fun little thing where you run around and you get to like do you think there's like other versions of the hunt with guns and these people are like, nah, I don't want to do the gun one. I want to do the cool one. I didn't make this stupid ice pick thingy for nothing.
That's the one from The Hunt. Like there's the hunt. There's this shit.
Society-wise, do you think this says something about us as a society?
No.
Just every single screenwriter is like, I feel like some sort of really believable alternate reality would be one where the rich people kill all the poors.
I say something about these fucked up writers.
Yeah.
So we're not killing the poors. We're killing, like, failed real estate investors. He's not
true.
a poor.
In the good ones, they're killing the poors. In the bad ones, they're killing them. They're killing the Liam Hemsworths and the... God, I don't know. What's another bad one of these? The one from The Hunt. But in like good ones like Ready or Not and stuff, it's like a whole different. And in The Purge, it's different. It's awesome. All right, so end of the movie. How does the movie end?
Very abruptly.
Yeah, super abruptly and like kind of purposefully,
that's
but
what
then
happens.
not really.
That's what happens when your movie has to be released in 6 to 9 minute chunks. So your whole like ending climactic bit has to then have an epilogue in the next minute.
I'll be honest. I've been honest this whole time. I'm always honest with you guys. I think this movie had a lot of problems. I think this, as an ending, is the best possible ending. I love this ending.
Given the other 14 parts of it, like, I guess this 15th part is the best they could have done.
Well, just like, and conceptually, so what happens is, first of all, Liam Hemsworth catches the pedophile, and he's like, where's my wife? And the pedophile says, do you guys remember this line? It's fucking awful.
I hope you like irony.
Ugh. So then he has to go to the abandoned building that no one can buy or sell. Which the Carrington, which I assumed was where Christoph Waltz had been set up, but it doesn't appear that that's where he was either.
Yeah. I thought that meant, they've been the operations base has been there the whole time.
And that made sense.
Yeah.
But nah.
Also, I want to say, sorry, I just remembered, there's so much to talk about in this movie.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the trunk.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the trunk was fun.
There's a point where Christoph Waltz is like, when he's convincing Liam Hemsworth successfully somehow to not hunt them back. Where he's like, well, you see, Dodge, you're never going to find us again. We're going to disappear forever, and you'll never be able to see where we are. Dude, you have a building with your company's name on it that he went to, and his wife went to.
Yeah.
Like, what? Is that just going to be gone?
And
what are you talking about?
And he caught the pedophile. Like, it's not like the bit with the pedophile was
and then
planned.
Just let him go, because he's at the end.
Yeah, that's right. He's driving the limo or whatever. Yeah, what the fuck? So, and the trunk thing. DJ, explain the trunk thing real quick, because that is just honestly that made me go. I was so embarrassed for Dodge in that moment.
So, real quick, not to belabor this point. So, after Dodge is fleeing the hockey game, he goes into the parking lot, and there's this couple, and they open the trunk to whatever, doesn't matter why.
And his disguise has been compromised because he chose to walk directly past the vendor where he shoplifted the items from. The vendor who spoke to him, saw his face and explicitly told him not to shoplift, so he definitely remembered this guy shouldn't have his stuff.
like, I've never seen a homeless guy that looks like that guy. I've just never seen it. It's so hard to believe. I think most people would see that. Like, you know what? You know what's really weird? He's Liam Hemsworth, right? He's fucking a handsome dude. He never tries to charm anybody. Never does he go up to, like, a young woman and be like, hi, I need a bottle of water, please. You know, like, nothing. It's just always he goes up to guys that hate him and it's like, give me water. And they're like, we won't. You're homeless, you giant mountain of a man. We've seen homeless men like you with dirt on their face. And he's like, please. And they're like, no. And he just pushes them and takes it. It's the worst.
Yeah, I'm not a particularly handsome person. I'm certainly no Liam Hemsworth. I have looked thirsty on a street and people have been like, do you need some water?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I haven't even looked nearly... I'm nowhere near as handsome as he is, and I didn't look anywhere near as bad as he did. And people were just like, hey, you want some water? Like, he doesn't even try.
He really doesn't. He is... I think he might be... I've seen a couple of movies like this, and like we've seen, you know, I watched. I think we both watched Ready or Not. I think we've talked about this. Right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So like, she doesn't know what's going on from the beginning, but eventually she starts figuring it out, you know, and she like comes up with plans, and sometimes they're good, and sometimes she's kind of tricked into something, but like, she's thinking, and he is dumb from minute one. And he never gets smarter. He never gets more clever. It's just he keeps bumping into all these guys, too. Like, they don't trap him. They don't, like, leave a trail of jelly beans for him to follow. They just wait in places where he'll probably go when he shows up. And they're like, Like, he's... Oh, God. This is the most boring way to make a movie like this. It's just like... You could. This movie is so makeable. I wonder what's the deal with the rights of this story? Because I feel like anybody could write this, and I feel like you can make a really fun version of it if you just took a second to think about why does every character want to do the thing they're doing right now? Because none of those questions, you never get a satisfying answer to that question in this movie. It's always just like, because the episode's almost over. All right, so the end of the movie.
Well, the trunk. We still
sorry, the trunk. God, the fucking trunk.
There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So he's in the parking lot. He's been compromised. Didn't use it was charisma. Sees an open trunk, jumps right in, right? Yeah. And he's like, cool, I won't suffocate. I'll be good. And what happens is that he hears the couple having a conversation. Oh, can't wait to go home to Birmingham, Michigan. And then he realizes, oh no, I'm going to go outside the city limits. And it's like, dude, of fucking course you are. Yeah. I have been to countless New Jersey Devils games. It's in Newark. I drive there every time I go. Yeah. I just can't imagine if, like, the hunt was in Newark, if some guy was being hunted, he'd be like, this guy's drunk, he's got to be a local. Blah!
I'm going to tell you,
welcome to Madison, New Jersey.
I went on this journey with Chris Hemsworth, or Liam Hemsworth, too. So Liam Hemsworth gets in the car to avoid this one guy, and he's like, ha, this is clever. And then the next person you see is Christoph Waltz, and his whole thing is just like, oh, no, Dodge, you're getting in the car, you fool. I'm so embarrassed. Can you imagine having to text all the guys in the hunt, hey, he got in a car, so it doesn't count. You can kill him if you want, but like, also, if you're in it for the fun of it, this isn't really... Sorry, I thought he would not do that because of how fucking stupid an idea that is.
How would the cleaner handle that one?
Yeah, right?
I'm just... How did they not notice, even putting aside the visual cues, like... Liam Hemsworth is a big man. That car must have dipped when he got in, right?
Yeah. And he was on his last legs at that point. So I have a feeling he didn't like do like a little, entrapment laser dance into the car. I'm sure he just flunk into the car,
And was he expecting that a person who drove to a stadium was going to drive to another part of Detroit?
Not public transit. We already saw the public transit.
Like, what the... obviously anyone who drove here drove because they don't live in the city.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a pretty good plan if you know the person's car isn't going anywhere for 24 hours and you're in, like, a parking garage. No one will figure that out. Just jump into a car. Because, and it's a GPS, but also, like, it's a movie GPS, so I'm sure it would say, like, he's in your trunk. But if it wasn't, you would just be like, fuck it, get in a car, and eventually they'll try to get me. And if they find me, I'll open the trunk of the car and probably knock them out and then get in a different one. But, like, the fact that, I don't know, the fact that, like, he's, like, he has to be reminded twice by these characters in things that are leaving Detroit, that they're leaving Detroit, as if he is in a video game. And it's like, oh, man, I hope we don't have enough gas to get to, like, it's like, hey, Nico, did you know about the police that are following us, the thing? Like, it's, he thinks none of this through. It's so boring to have a chase movie where the character isn't doing anything fun. Ugh, this movie sucks. I'm with you guys. It sucks. The parts where the assassins are doing their thing are fun. The parts where it's just him fucking up are, like, infuriating. And everything without assassins is infuriating. This movie should be about assassins. So how does the movie end, guys? What's this final, this grand, the one that was teased on the poster, knife versus building? What are we gonna do? How's this end?
Well, in spectacular fashion,
oh my goodness.
we have the showdown in the abandoned plant, right? So he's got all his traps set up. He's got his acetone and his crushers, and he's just like dusting hunters one by one, right? Mm-hmm. Until we get to the showdown between Nixon and Dodge.
Yep.
This the clash of the Titans.
Oh my god.
And how does it go? Well, Dodge pretty much just runs out the clock. They're at the top of his unfinished building. He's like falls, and then but he's like hanging on to like the side of the building, this like one pillar, and the sun shines, and then Nixon's like, "Oh, good job, mate. Good spot. Dig up now. Good hunt, eh? Good hunt. You're a good prey. Good job."
And now I'm going to go in the jungle and get me a tangerine.
And it's revealed it was Michael Caine the whole time.
I love that guy in that moment so much. I thought that was such a fun, like, turn for his character as like oh, yeah, it's over. Well, it was fun. Like, if that was the attitude other characters had, or some version of that attitude was carried throughout the movie, it would have been really fun. Like, if it felt like a game to them, but not to him. But instead, it always felt like a game. Like, it felt like a life or death thingy to everybody. But I was, like, so happy. I wanted them to hug and, like, be friends. And, like, hey, if you want to exchange numbers, we can do a informal one of these. Do, like, run away from each other games, But
yeah, we'll play, like, tag or hide and seek,
Yeah. You can pay me $1 million. I'm sure that's a lot less than you got, but you just don't get to kill me, which you don't seem to really want to do. You just want to run around. Like, you don't have a bloodlust, clearly. You want to throw things, that's fine. We'll get, like, Nerf guns and shit. I don't know.
I would love it if he was like, yeah, so, having a bridge game at my place next week. You guys seem fun, so... you're welcome to come if you want. No murder this time.
I
legit
would have loved if at the end somebody like helps him out. It's like, oh, good sport, mate. But I'm so mad at you, and just pushes him off the building.
Oh my god. Well, I kind of thought Luke Hemsworth would do that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be.
I
thought it was going to be. He helps Liam Hemsworth up, and he's like, oh, thanks, man, and then just like dunks him off the side of the building.
Right, and I feel like there was the other thing that this movie didn't do at all was like any judgment at the feet of the hunters, where it was like, oh, look at what society the rich have done to the poor. Because at that point, when he survives and also becomes rich and a person that gets to live through this, even though I'm pretty sure he stole a car and maybe killed a guy on camera, but who knows how that went down. He's like,
cleaner cleaned it all up.
But, like, the stolen car?
Yeah.
He stole it at a gas station.
Yeah, he actually specifically says how he cleaned that one up, remember?
I can't remember.
He's like, I took it around for a little joyride and then torched it so it seemed like it was just some random crazy doing whatever.
Right, but then there'd be video of him at the gas station stealing it. So where did that go? Anyway, So,
by the way, sorry, just real quick, random piece of no payoff. At one point, when they're in like the operations center for Christoph Waltz, the one like computer analyst, he's like, there's been a lot of reports where about this guy who's running around Detroit, same description, where he's been committing all these crimes, and that just never comes up again. After the hunt's over, police are like, fuck it.
The actual police never get involved. Only the fake police that were hired by Christoph Waltz.
And I guess you could say once you get out of this with your $23 million, you can get the good lawyers and you'll be fine.
Once you're rich enough, laws don't apply to you anymore.
And that's, I think, where the end of the movie happens. Like, Liam Hemsworth's character is like the guy who is, up until this point, been just a straight-up serial killer. Like, the psychotic dude in the suit almost kills him, and then doesn't, and the sun goes up, and he goes, oh, I guess I don't have to kill anymore. Jolly good show, and then leaves, and Liam Hemsworth's like, yeah, that's just how it is with us rich people, huh? Playing with the lives of the poors. But, like, yeah, it's like...
Nixon helps him up, and he's just, like, standing there like, huh, I suddenly have an opinion about the capital gains tax.
Yeah, I'm going to change all my opinions about all of my social issues. Also, can we call me Obama? Is that one taken yet? I don't want to be Trump, but I'm definitely going to do these. Yeah.
I don't think you should take Obama.
Bush sounds lame. How about Clinton? I don't want to be Clinton. They're all bad. Let's go backwards. I want to be Taft. Anyway, that is a great idea, and I'm so excited about being part of the hunt now. I assume I get a free ticket to next year's hunt for surviving, because, like, whoa, you guys got to hunt against me now. I just, like... It's such a weird, like, betrayal of the classism in this movie that he is now friends with Nixon. And he just lets him go to do another hunt next year to some random guy who has been tricked into thinking he has cancer.
Are we supposed to know who that next guy is? Because we get a little cliffhanger where it's like, who's next on our list?
I don't think we do.
It's just a random picture of a guy.
Yeah, I
assume
assume
look up the actor.
I mean,
I assume it's just supposed to be like, oh, they're gonna do it again.
Oh, good. They're new town, which means they're gonna have to fucking pretend to be from there. They're
gonna have to hire out the entire, like, amateur acting scene of that city now.
Yeah. And he's gonna have to retool his little pitch, like, oh, yes, this is from the LA Kings hockey jersey. I love them. They're my favorite team. I watched them as a child when my grandparents immigrated here to do lots of textiles. What is it this town is famous for? It's that. That is what I have made my life doing, and that is why I love all the people and their unique culture from town. Now, as you know, you're from town. My name is also based on town. I am named King because of the LA Kings, my favorite hockey team. But... like,
all right, Mr. Wiseau, we get it.
I think now it's even worse than that somehow. I think it's some sort of Steve Martin character. It's all over the place. I'm a wild and crazy guy. Let me go to a hunt. I don't know.
Jesus.
Either way, this doesn't work outside of Detroit. This only makes sense, and I think I like this movie way better if Detroit is where the hunt happens. That is a entire 300, 600, whatever, 1,000 person city, however many I said, that exists for hunting purposes only. And, that's the economy.
If it was set in Detroit, then we might be able, like, permanently, we might be able to set up some kind of metaphor about, like, the rich devouring the poor in a post-industrial, like, economic wasteland and, have some themes and ideas going on. But that's not the movie this is. So.
No. This is a movie where Liam Hemsworth runs around like the people want. And the guy from Spider-Man does a flip, and he says wait, what's he up to? No way. He is, man, I didn't know there was a secret fifth Wahlberg brother. But I'm pretty sure that's what this guy is.
Oh, my God.
Went to the Wahlberg School of Acting.
Wait, so, Nando, we're going to do a quick thing. I'm going to be the wife, and you're going to be him.
Luger? Best friend Luger?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't... Luger's not a name.
It is a name
sorry.
for a friend. Anyway.
It's a name for a gun, literally.
And for, like, a spit, like a loogie, kind of. That's what I kind of read it as. But, yes. Well, so it's written Looger. I assume in the gun it's Luger with, like, an umlaut or something. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, DJ, let's do that scene. The good scene. Here we go. Everybody, do that thing where you put your fingers in front of your face and like get into acting mode. The thing that's like face off, but backwards. Anyway, go on.
Luger, I'm so concerned. Dodge, our bank account, we have just $50,000 just got deposited in, and then 150. We're just getting so much money. I have no idea what's going on. He's been missing for hours, Luger. I'm really worried.
What? Dodge? He's my friend. He wouldn't do anything like this. Do you think Dodge is in trouble? I don't know where he is either.
I'm so worried. I think I'm going to call the police. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, but call the police on my phone. It's a special phone. Maybe. Who knows? I'm a good friend, and I hope that Dodge gets out of whatever trouble he's in, unless I put him in trouble. Then I guess I want revenge. Also, Dodge, it's me, your friend Luger. I know that you have a lot of hardship, but hey, I get it. I also loaned you money, and I lost 50 grand. I have no emotion about this. I'm running a bar in Detroit that's constantly empty. No one's ever in this thing.
There is literally no one ever in that bar besides Luger, Liam Hemsworth's wife, and who I assume is Luger's wife, but doesn't show up in any scene besides that one.
I think they go to dinner once, right? Or something? I feel like there's one scene with all of them.
I'm saying, yeah, there's the one.
Yeah.
That's besides that one time we see her, she never shows up again. So I don't know. I assume it's his wife.
Yeah.
There's a line he has that I would like if it was delivered halfway competently.
Which one's that?
It's when he's like giving him the pep talk in the bar, and he's like, listen, Dodge, you're a bad card player, an average like skier, and my best friend. And it's just like a silly line that in like a good comedic actor would be like, huh, what a wacky guy this is. But he says it the way you were just saying everything.
Yeah, wait,
like,
do it, Diggins. Do the good version of it.
It's like, listen, Dodge, you're a bad card player and a below-average skier and my best friend.
Okay. Hey, buddy, listen. I want to do my job and have a building, but also I'm poor, but also I have brain cancer, but also my wife is pregnant. Is this enough? Is this enough for it to be interesting if we run around Detroit for 2 hours?
Hey, remember when someone hit on your wife and you, like, beat the shit out of him because that's a normal reaction?
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do something like that, I guess.
I'm a best friend. I
You're my
fought
best
people at a
friend.
bar for you.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Luger scenes for a second. One of my favorite Luger scene, really is my problem with Luger, and I'd like to go back and watch the scene again, is the one where he tries to convince Dodge that he wasn't part of it. They're trying to trick you. They're lying to you. Why don't you believe me, buddy? It's so bad.
It was like, I didn't think you were part of it until you started trying to convince me you weren't.
Yeah. Like, part of me is like, you probably aren't, because if you were, you'd be better at it than this. But also, maybe this is the best you could do. Oh, God. This movie, man. They could have done... There's 50 different versions of this movie that are good. Like, that are fun to watch. Better lead, better supporting characters, fun action, an interesting city, like, just better editing. It's so, like, salvageable. Like, not this one, but the idea of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like you said, if we could grab the rights and maybe do it not shitty.
Do you think if they fucking nailed this would have put Quibi on the map? Like, the best movie of the, like, May comes out on Quibi?
I mean, if they made anything that was good, I think that would help a lot.
Oh my God, Game Show is rolling in its grave. That show is fun. I think there's a couple, and the Princess Bride thing is good. I actually watched it this weekend and I enjoyed it.
I think because of the way, I'm not sure it can count as a movie because of the way they release it. Like,
Yeah.
for like box office purposes or whatever.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, because
Well, not
of-
box office, obviously, but I mean, like, the way, like, Netflix movies count as movies for, like, awards and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is allowed to count because of the way they released it.
Oh my God, I would die if they fucking took the next Bong Joon-ho movie and just cut it up into 1 million pieces and put it on this so that
Oh my
we could
God.
force the Academy to recognize Quibi. That'd be so great. Oh my god. All right, so this is the only thing that anyone should watch on Quibi. There's nothing else besides everything we've talked about last week and this. There's nothing besides like random ESPN programming of note on Quibi.
Well, I wouldn't recommend you watch most of the things we talked about last week.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess there's something else. There's some sort of show with Sophie Turner that, like, I don't know if it's a show or a movie or whatever, but that always gets advertised. But I'm talking, like, when it comes to Quibi, you know, I think we got it all. I don't think there's very much left besides some Kiefer Sutherland something, which who gives a shit. But, yeah. So, you know, we'll see. Maybe maybe there'll be something else that happens in the next couple of months. Quibi will have a phoenix moment. It'll rise from the ashes, and we'll do more Quibi. But for now, I think the book on Quibi is closed. So all in all, best streaming service?
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not better than Peacock, which is just launched.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta let Peacock spread its wings, fly. Otherwise, how will we know? But definitely up there. All right. Do you guys want to get to our classic segment? Do you guys have anything to recommend to the fine people? Do you?
Have I already recommended Terrace House?
What's that?
Probably.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Well,
That doesn't sound super familiar to me. What is that?
So, basically, it's on Netflix. It takes place in Japan during normal times, and they basically get like 6 strangers together, and they put them in a house, and it's kind of like it's like real world ish. It's like a lot more wholesome, and there's no like challenges and stuff like that. But it's just like, you know, like them kind of living together and the drama and stuff that happens through there. There's like a lot of different seasons on Netflix.
Yeah, I do not think you have recommended this before.
Okay, cool. If you're looking for like a reality TV show fix, I believe they've recently, within like the past like couple months, dropped a few new episodes. What's awkward is, so they started filming this late last year, and they were going to have a whole run-up to where, like, the Terrace House crew was going to be part of the Olympics, and, like, obviously that fell through.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but so I don't know, like, what the resolution was. I don't know if we're going to get, like, Terrace House in quarantine, but it's still, like, worth watching. Just, like, another thing of reality TV that's, like, a bit more wholesome than, like, your Too Hot to Handles or your... whatever the other... Oh, like, the Married at Love It site.
Oh, yeah.
The-
Love is
the-
Blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit better than those, and not totally just like sex romance focused. Although there is a little bit of that.
The whole
So yeah, Terrace House. It's on Netflix. There's a bunch of seasons. Aloha State's pretty good. I think that one takes place in Hawaii. And whatever the most recent seasons are, where they're back in Japan, would definitely recommend if you're into that kind of reality TV show stuff. So yeah.
Cool.
cool.
Diggins, you got anything to recommend?
I do. Something that I think you also have to recommend.
Yeah, I think we do. But I got other stuff,
so.
so go for it.
Okay. So a movie came out on Hulu this past weekend, or it is this past weekend right now, July 10th. It's a new movie by Andy Samberg and the mother from How I Met Your Mother, Kristen Milioti, a person who I'm sure hates being referred to that way.
Yeah.
But hey, she's super good in this movie, as is Andy Samberg. It's called Palm Springs, and if you haven't heard of it, because I think I might have even mentioned it on a previous podcast as something I was looking forward to. But it's a Groundhog Day kind of it's a take on the Groundhog Day concept of the infinitely repeating day, where it's they're both trapped in that day during a wedding. And so it kind of becomes this romantic comedy of them like being trapped in this time loop. It's really funny. It's really charming. It's surprisingly sweet, while also being like very ironic, in that very millennial Gen Z kind of way of reaching a point of sincerity through irony. But I was super charmed by it. It's well worth your time. If you have Hulu, it's just available there, totally for free. Well, not for free because you're paying for Hulu, but you know what I mean. It's called Palm Springs. You should definitely check it out.
Nice. I also watched that, enjoyed it. I would say I also watched The Old Guard on Netflix and thought it was fine. It's like, I don't know. It's fine. It's an action movie. Some things are better than others in it. I would say it's kind of interesting, and some people have been like, you guys should nitpick it. Maybe, but I don't know if it's like quite that interesting. We'll see. I also would recommend, I just read a comic as part of like a book club pilot that I'm doing for the Patreon, but I read, and I'd never read this before, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come by Mark
Say,
Waid
fellas,
and Alex
is somebody
Ross.
talking about the Door to Darkness?
Yes, it's the one where, I mean, hey, we're this close to Superman and Mickey Mouse teaming up. I mean, we just need to have a couple more acquisitions. But, yeah, it's like one of those alternate reality, what if everything was bad and the superheroes, maybe their morals were whatever. But it's the best one of those, for sure, as far as, like, injustice-y kind of stories. And the art is gorgeous because Alex Ross is, like, one of the most distinct and interesting artists in comics.
It's very painterly.
Yeah, it's super like interesting, and it's fun because, and this is the thing that I think is more fun because I read it on the DC Universe app because I was like just keeping up with it, and then I was like, oh, you know what? Let's check on the by the physical copy, and the physical copy in the back has a bunch of the like villain like new age heroes that are more or less, because this came out in like 1996. So it was kind of a parody of the 90s heroes. So that what they did was they were like Superman and all the rest of them have kind of retired. And the hero game has been taken over by just like the worst guys. And they're all patches and muscles and bandoliers and shit. And they're pretty funny. And if you look into who they are and like get an idea for what these characters are by going through like background, it's pretty entertaining. My favorite one, there's a guy named 666 who's just 3 6s tattooed all over him, who's pretty fun. There's one called Dragon Knight, who is a dragon, like just, you know, maybe like a 20-foot tall dragon, who also has like knight armor on. So that one's fun. And yeah, as like an alternate, you know, Elseworld story, it's very fun. So far, that's it, really. I'm trying to think. I started reading a book that I'll probably recommend next week, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time, so I give it a more detailed recommendation. Speaking of next week, what are we doing next week?
It's got to be Money Plane, right?
I forgot about Money Plane for sure. Yeah.
Money
Plane. That could be a sequel to this, maybe. How do you think? I mean, Christoph Waltz drives home, but maybe some of the other guys get back on the Money Plane.
Yeah.
I bet Nixon went home on the Money Plane.
Hell
He
yeah.
did. He probably played a couple rounds of Russian roulette just to like get a little fresh.
Yeah, or Baccarat, or whatever the most British one of these is. He probably thinks he's a James Bond type. I think that's a great idea. For people that don't remember, that's something we talked about last week. It's some sort of bizarre WWE movie. I have no idea where I'm going to find it, but I'm willing to give it a look. Anybody have anything to plug?
Negative, sir.
Nothing. Diggins?
It's fairly likely that by the time this comes out, this will already be up. So I feel confident giving it a plug now. I made a YouTube video kind of expanding a little bit on some of the arguments I made during our Artemis Fowl podcast. It is currently with my editor at the time of this recording, which is why I am hopeful it will be up by the time you hear this. So if you can, I'm sure you'll be able to find it on my Twitter once I actually upload it and put it up. But so I don't have like a place to direct you at this exact moment, but that's coming. So get yourselves ready.
It's about how Mulch Diggins' butthole doesn't open up wide enough for all the dirt that comes out of it, right?
Exactly.
Like it needs to be a bigger butthole situation.
100%.
I think that's a great idea. I also have an Artemis Fowl video coming out soon, but mine's really specific about one of the weird editing thingies that shows up.
Yeah, we talked about both of our videos.
Yeah.
And they cover very different topics. So you could totally watch both and not be like, I wasted my time on this second one.
If we're lucky, they'll both recommend each other to the other one, and people will be like, oh my god, where's DJ's Artemis Fowl video? Why isn't the mostly nitpicking Artemis Fowl triumvirate video group made their videos? So maybe they will. Who knows?
How do I make a video?
Oh, it's super easy. It depends.
Listen, if I can
How do you
do
make
it,
a video
anyone can do
well, DJ? That's the question.
Oh,
and
well,
I'm
I
not
don't-
sure what the answer to that one is.
Anyone who's seen my video by now will sure know that I won't know the answer to that question.
Listen, DJ Diggins, the true from one YouTuber to the other. there's no guarantee your video will ever come out on any timeline. Just, throw a bunch of videos out there and be like, this movie's coming out sometime in the next 10 years, and then people will never be disappointed. They'll always just be like, ooh, a pleasant surprise. But no, I think this is fun. I mean, we got to strike while the Artemis Fowl iron's hot, right? It's cooling down a little bit.
People are still talking about that movie, right?
It's about to catch its second wind. I think it's really going to become a cultural touchstone evenally. So
Speaking of Mulch Diggums, a second wind.
That's a good point. All that being said, we'll do Money Play next week. Until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.